And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to GSRC final round of Season A, 23A of the Up and Comers series. We're live from Phillip Island in the beautiful part of Victoria in our homeland. It is great to have you aboard for what is going to be a stellar night tonight. I'm joined in the booth by the one and only Sam Chapman, and we're going to be joined throughout the night by race control Trent Lavis. It's great to have you along, everyone. Sam, thanks for joining me again. Thanks for hosting tonight. We are in for a stellar night, I'm sure.
I'm sure we are. I'm really looking forward to tonight. We've got the top two drivers on the same amount of points. Where have we heard that before, huh?
Yeah, exactly right. I don't know if we're making GSRC history here tonight, but it's certainly setting up for a beautiful night ahead with Pete Matto-Matson and Greg Paget going to battle it out tonight for sure. And Brendan Van Ryn, who's Greg Paget's teammate, is not far behind, only 23 points behind. There's 3 races, 3 different cars, but it is the one track, so we're staying here at Phillip Island. Sam, it's going to throw up some different challenges, different scenarios, I'm sure, but the guys will be right for the battle tonight, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely they will. They're getting ready to line up here too. I'm just going to have to do a quick restart at SDK as well, because we're not seeing our all our extra timing screens and that sort of thing at the moment. And hopefully we can get that up and working.
We we do like to have our graphics up for everyone watching, and everyone is able to keep an eye on their favourite driver, and it helps us with position changes and pit stops when they happen, and all that sort of thing. But we thank Adam Lavis, who's a massive stalwart of the club, who puts together all our SDK information for us to view, and we just thank him immensely for all the hard work he does behind the scenes. Sam, we actually, as a surprise, we have some extras in tonight that took us by surprise as we were having a look before the broadcast. That may throw a cat among the pigeons, maybe.
It sure could. We have multiple winner, I think, Aiden Schweiker, who we saw at the start of the season and haven't seen since make his way back in. I think Tookfoot Wong, who as well has been in and out of the server over a period of time. So we've got Matto and Greg right up the front as we see the standings here, along with a number of other drivers, which I'll just leave you to go through there, Adam, while they got these guys set up.
So we've got Pete Madsen, Greg Paget tied for the top of the step of the podium. Brendan Van Ryn, as we were saying, is very, very close behind, followed by Dave May. He's put in a great season. He'd be pretty impressed with P4 at this point. Probably not aiming for a podium tonight, but certainly will give his all, as he always does. Justin Cotter, who's had a couple of great rounds as well. He is P5 in the championship so far. Sean Reese, a fantastic driver. He's won a few rounds this season, so he's going to make sure he's not going to make it easy for the top guys. Robert Culbraith, Adam Johnson, Daniel Enright, Garth Horsfall round out the top 10 in the championship. And we are a go, Sam. We are a go for the first race. So as we take a look at the guys take off, we currently... What I can see in the server... There we go. Rightio. I'm a little bit ahead of myself. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, no, it's not you, mate. It is everything is falling apart as far as SDK is concerned here, unfortunately, in the final round. But it's sort of half connecting. It's a bit of an issue right now.
All right.
So you're going to have to do it off the live timing for the moment while we figure this out.
You sort out in the
Jeez.
background, mate, and I'll play like they used to do in the World War II days, where there was no television and had fly-by-night commentary. But Aiden Schweikert actually it was a pole position. He's currently leading Pete Madsen. He has only a half a second gap. Jonathan Hooper is P3. Sean Reese in P4. So they've actually bridged the gap so far to the rest of the field, which is led by Brendan Van Ryn. So they've pulled out, looks like almost a 1.5 second gap over the rest of the guys. And it is a fight at the moment for that top position. So at the moment, with the way the championship stands, Pete Madsen is in the box seat for the first race at least. For those following along, Greg Paget is currently in P7, so he's the last car in the second pack. We currently have like 2 packs of 4 at this point in time, and then Phil King and Wayne Edwards are a separate pack on their own. Okay, we're back now. We see live Aiden Schweikert in front. Matto is not letting him get away at all, but Sean Reese and Jonathan Hooper, they've had a couple of battles this season. Sean Reese goes off track, I've seen, but I think he's okay. He's hasn't created any disaster for himself as they're coming around the wide left-hander, and we see that there's been no change at the top, although Brendan Van Ryn has had something happen. He's moved from P5 down to P7, so he was in front of Chuk Fung Wong and Greg Paget. He's actually behind those guys now, and he might play the game where he's looking to look after his teammate in Greg, knowing that Greg's further up the ladder in the championship than he is. And so we currently on screen have Chuk Fung Won. I think that's Chuk in the
yeah, that's it. You got him right. So that's Chuk Fung Wong, who is one of our, well, we call it a wild card entrant, along with Aiden Schweikert, because we haven't seen that much, but we know that they're relatively quick within this field. But as well, yeah, so what we got, Sean Reese in third, up 2 spots, and Schweikert fairly comfortable in this series, often taking that lead. So, but he is not shaking Matto at this point, and Matto is up. Yeah, they're sitting quite comfortably in second, touch wood, with his championship rival on equal points, at least for now, down in 6th place, trying to chase down Chuk.
And we see that Matto is right on the tail of Aiden, utilising the massive draft that you can get here at Phillip Island, depending on the car that you're driving. But Greg's right on the back of Chuk at the moment, so Greg's wanting to, well, as I said, just utilise that draft as they're coming down into the left-hander. Chuk just leaving a little bit of room. There's a little bit of tyre lock there, and Greg will be looking. Oh, Chuk goes off. Is he going to hold on? He does. He does save it. That's well saved by him. What that does, though, is slow him down so that Greg can come up to the right-hander.
Yeah, right-hander. This is what, Honda, I think it is?
Honda, I think it is,
what it used to be called, maybe. But yeah, that's the right place to be over that corner, and he's taken that through. But now Chuk looks like that he'll be on the outside for this corner as well. So it's in the box seat here, and he has his teammate Brendan Van Ryn behind as well to try and pick up any scraps. Although Chuk's got a good run out through there, through this sort of windy section, which is no real corner for these 2 cars. And it looks like he'll have the inside for this longer left-hander into the hairpin that goes into the final straight.
And been a little bit of a naughty boy and not researching my corner name, although I've watched plenty of supercars events here. But the guys have they're a type pack of 3 at this point. Aiden Schweikert's just put in the fastest lap of the race at a 1:48.50, although Matto is done very, very close to that 1:48.57 and is only 0.2 behind. But as we watch this battle with the 2 Bean Boss boys against Chuk, who I think that livery that Chuk's running, I think that's an old Jordan livery from the early 90s, Jordan F1, I think. I could be wrong, but...
Sorry, as well, we've had Madsen take the lead on the first corner here as well, round what is that? The outside there. A risky game going around the outside of Aiden Schreiker. Outside is suicide, as he has trained us, Aiden. But Matto tucks back in behind. He knows there's a long race ahead. I assume they'll probably need pit stops in a race of 30 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that ends up working out. Which is a good segue to our race control, who has race control for tonight and has been for the season. Trent Lavis. Trent, welcome along. The guys have behaved themselves so far, and that is a question that's probably good for us to ask you. You'd be more familiar with that. Is there likely to be pit stops tonight, Trent, or is it all the way through?
Don't think so. I reckon they'll be right to go through. I actually haven't checked the fuel scenario at the moment, simply because there's no practice, so I didn't really jump in the car and have a look. But maybe if the next race when we come up, I'll jump in the car and have a quick look and let you know.
No worries, and thanks for your service over the season. It's been awesome to have you along, and it's been well appreciated by all the drivers as well as Sam and I, because we have no idea what's going on after time. We've called fault on drivers, and it's been racing incidences, and we thought they were racing incidences that have been faults on drivers. So that's why we're stuck here in the booth and not at race control. So thanks for all you're doing there, Trent, for us. As we still have Aiden and Pete Matson fighting it out. They have pulled out a rather large gap now, just under 4 seconds over Jonathan Hooper. He's sort of playing the lone card at the moment in P3. Chook and Brendan Van Ryn. So something's happened to Greg Paget. He's now all the way down to P10. I'm not sure what's happened to Greg. Hopefully we can catch that soon. But it's Chook and Brendan Van Ryn having a battle for P4. They've got a 5-second lead over Wayne Edwards. Phil King is in P7. Justin Cotter is 8. Adam Johnson is P9 in front of 4 seconds in front of Greg Paget. So Greg's obviously had some sort of mishap. Hopefully he didn't. He was on a racing incident.
See, he's gone off track. I'm not sure if this will work. There we go.
Has he taken too much grass to carry too? He's gone.
Bit of pace.
He'd be dirty. That one for sure.
Yeah, and through that corner as well, it's hard to know how much, because these skippies, they drift. That's sort of how they go around corners. But you can let it go too far and it costs you dearly. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it does. And Greg did the right thing there by obviously checking his F3 relative screen that the race control asks us drivers to have on at all times, so that he doesn't pull out in front of other traffic, as we still follow this battle between Chook and Brendan.
These boys were too wide from Siberia all the way down to MG. Absolutely insane. Thought it all.
Awesome stuff, and they're both excellent races and both very competitive, but also very polite in their racecraft, if polite is a term in motor racing. But Brendan's now got the jump on Chook, although...
Quick nudge.
Chook goes, almost touches the grass. I'm not quite sure if he just managed to get the grass there, but he's certainly held onto it. And he's hoping that Brendan's going to make the same mistake as Greg to make it easy for him. But Brendan's a crafty driver, and he will... I know he's done some practice laps today, so he knows this track well. He knows how the car handles, and he's not going to make it easy for Chook at all. He's covering the line as he is entitled to. Coming around, looking for... Here we are back at what we know as Honda, which is probably not what that's called now. And Brendan does hold on for that... where are we looking? P4, so he's still there. There's still been no change at the top, but what I can say is that Matto has done the fastest lap of the race at a 1:47.37. So he is very, very close to Aiden, as we see now. As we see. Thanks for that, Sam. Great segue there. And Matto is right on Aiden's tail. Obviously, it will be playing into Matto's hand, because the closer he is to Aiden, the further along he gets pulled by the draft, is what I was trying to say. And this is where it's really utilised coming down this massive straight, one of the longest straights that we have in the country on our circuits. Sam, good racing so far. I've taken a lot of the talking while you've been in the back there, making sure the broadcast is running as smooth as possible. Matto and Aiden fighting it out, and neither of them are giving an inch.
Yeah, no, neither of them are. No, thank you for your patience, viewers. I think right before we started, SD Code said, "Oh, do you want to update?" And I went, "Oh, yeah, of course. The new version sounds good." And it's since decided that overlays aren't a thing it wants to do anymore, which is most of what we do on the broadcast. So you've sort of got a little bit of a cobbled together one in the corner there that's sort of screen capturing, but it will do the job for now. You may see my mouse every now and then as we switch from driver to driver, but we'll hopefully be able to fix it between races. And still be able to watch the rest of this race, because these two, look at these two fighting for the lead. And as well, look at Matto. You know, Aiden is not an easy person to keep up with. This is great from him too.
It is, and for those that are only just joining us, Aiden is last season's champion, and he's joined tonight. And
Fake
he is
news, season before, mate. Season before.
season before. So, sorry, how rude of me that I am co-hosting with last season's champion. Sorry, Sam, that is a bad career move. But Aiden is only 13, so he is one of the junior, well, probably definitely one of the youngest in the club, and he is certainly put a cat amongst the pigeons tonight in turning up. But he's racing fair, he's racing well, and I'm sure Pete's appreciating the challenge of being able to fight for the lead as we go back to Chook and Brendan still going at it.
But
These
I have
guys
to
are
go
glued
back
together,
again.
I'm sure.
Like, these guys, they're glued together just as these guys are. Look at this too. It's for the lead here, and once again, yeah, this is the thing. Fighting with Aiden can sometimes be a bit difficult because you know he's not going to give you an inch. Like,
No.
going around the outside is a risky game, right? And Matto knows, yeah, once again, long race. These things stick together as long as they don't fight too much. He knows he also knows he has to finish against ahead of a couple of people, but more so one, being Greg, because on the same points, and there he goes.
No. Oh, Trent's gonna he's gonna have to look at that one, I think. I don't know if Aiden brake too early,
and Greg Padgett has jumped to the kits as well.
Oh, what's happened now?
Wow.
All of a sudden we have nothing, and all of a sudden there's action aplenty. So, as we see the replay, they're coming down. What's happened here?
There is contact too.
There is. So
yeah,
that's something for Trent to obviously have a look at. He will get every angle available to him and watch the braking. Here we go. Oh, gee, I don't know. I don't want to call it, Sam. I've been wrong before. So
yeah, it did look like Aiden moved a bit to the left under brakes, which is an odd thing to do at that corner, given, while it sort of looked there like, Matto almost angled at Aiden. Realistically, that is the normal line for the corner in these sort of cars. So yeah, that's probably a tough one to call. I mean, rear contact, unless it's a clear reason for it not to be, is usually on, the chasing car, right? So
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if there is a little bit of mud thrown that way. It'll be interesting to see how much so. But as well, Greg Padgett in the pits. This is huge for the championship. What has happened to him?
He obviously something drastic, because Greg's not one to.
There you go, Bing.
Yeah,
that's bad. That is
done.
Bad. Such a pity.
Greg will be so disappointed with that, and that's at the same corner he had his off a few laps ago as well. So he's obviously struggling a little bit with how to enter or how much speed to carry into that first right-hander. It is tough on Greg at this point. He hasn't had a good couple of weeks, unfortunately. and he'll certainly be wanting to make amends in the last 2 races. As we have on screen Matto, who's now he's got a 1 second lead over Aiden. Obviously, that might change depending on how Trent views the incident that we just saw. And then the guys have separated now, actually, so there's no real groups battling it out at this point. Jonathan Hooper is still in P3. Chook has moved in front of Brendan, got a 1.5 second lead over Brendan now. So that's it. That's a P4, the P4 and P5. Wayne Edwards, Phil King, Adam Johnson remain in their positions, and Ben Woods has moved up to P9 just as caught over. Sean Reese, not Sean being down so low, he's normally up in the airfield. So that's a little bit surprising, Sean. As we continue to watch Matto out in front.
With Aiden chasing him down as well, only half a second in it, despite that accident, and you know, as we said before, there could be an invoice coming Matto's way. Depends, you know, how much Trent wants to be like the FIA and go for drama rather than what's actually
I'm
going on.
surprised. I've actually sent through a penalty message. Did it come through to you guys?
Yes, it didn't appear on the screen. I can see it in the server. 15 seconds.
For some context, Trent, SDK is barely working tonight. It turns out, to the point where we don't have overlays at the moment, even. So I'm not sure if I'm not sure if that's going to come through right now. We'll do a bit of a reset in the break, I think.
And I've just seen in the server we have a change at the top. So Aiden's actually made that what was 1.5 second gap a lap ago. He's now in front. He's made the pass. So we're just I'm a little bit ahead at this point. So Pete Matto,
so this is the replay of it. He went in on that inside there, along that sort of back curvature.
Yep.
And he will take that inside going around this corner, which is a much happier place to be, as long as you can make it stick for the hairpin at the bottom. Yep, and Matto just backs out. Knows there's no point fighting that right now. Oh, gee! And that's another contact from Matto there as well. Gee, he's doing everything to throw it away right now.
He is. And that's not like him either. He's a very fair driver, so I don't know.
And he's dropping down the order. He's off. Both our championship leaders have had major incidents. And Matto is off on the main straight, watching everyone else go past him.
That is huge. That is massive, because what that does is Brennan Van Ryn, who is P3 in the championship, was only 23 points behind, as we see on the right-hand side of the screen there.
Wow.
He's only 23 points behind, so if he's going to grab some points, certainly for this race, because he's currently sitting in P4.
And I believe first for this race, I think it's regular points, which is 60, I think. So I think maximum points this round, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think will be 180 points. So 20 points. Very easy to make up within that. We've been focusing on the top two, but they've been stitching themselves. Oh my God, these two have had a massive collision then, haven't they? So let's see. This is a replay here.
What's happened here? What's going on?
So Aiden's behind, quite a fair way behind. What?
Oh, he's brake tested him. Has he? Or he's just. I could be totally wrong.
It looks like brake testing. I don't know why you would do it. Let's
really
do an
onboard.
Behavior. Let's do an onboard for Pete, because
Pete's not like that.
Yeah.
Or is he just?
No, he just stopped.
He just.
I wonder if he's had a disconnection or something.
Maybe.
I don't want to point fingers at this point in time, but that was a very odd collision.
That's just one of the weirdest things I've seen. Apologies to Pete if I've overstepped the mark
and
in accusing
you. And then he's hit him again.
Oh! No, this is we are. That's got to be some sort of
Yeah. What is
technical
going
failure,
on
surely.
here?
That's
And
'cause
now
that's
he's in the
not.
pit. So,
I don't know.
what is
This is like
going on this race? I tell you what, if this is the setup for what's going to happen later on tonight, my God.
this is kind of like Twilight Zone sort of stuff at this point. So as we kind of gather our thoughts and our breath after all that, Jonathan Hooper ends up being in P1, and Chuk Fung Wong P2, Brendan Van Ryn
Yeah?
is P3. So Brendan's going to have a massive amount of points come his way.
Hmm.
It's even so because Matto is now down in 11. Greg is 12. There's 20 seconds between those two guys, and there is, what is that, 7, 8 spots between them. So that's a massive chunk of points. Brendan's way if he holds on to his position on the track. He's currently 10 seconds in front of Aiden. And what do we have? We have
That,
6 minutes left.
yeah.
So this has just been bizarre.
It has been bizarre, hasn't it? You know, we're seeing these guys, you know, they matter, especially in these last few rounds, has looked, you know, quite confident out front. And for, yeah, it's such an odd accident. We'll have to get comment from them afterwards. They better come in the chat, because I need to know what happened there. That just made no sense whatsoever.
I mean, I've gone off and just accused Matto of brake testing, so I'd be no good on a jury. Guilty before proven innocent. So I may owe him an apology if we are able to catch him in the chat after the race. But yeah, you're right. It will be interesting to see what's going on because it's just been so bizarre. That's not like him to do that sort of thing. He's he's very competitive, but he's very fair as well. So.
Yeah.
As we see Brendan Van Ryn on screen, he's coasting along, minding his own business. And he would be aware too. I would imagine that Matto and Greg are as far down as they are, and he really has no reason to rush. He's almost 4 seconds behind Chook, but he is 10 seconds in front of Aiden. So he's playing the Lone Ranger at this point. He would be pretty excited with how this has played out, although unhappy that his teammate Greg has had 2 offs at the same corner.
Yeah, Greg's had a difficult race, just a couple of errors there. Still only finds himself 1 position behind Matto now, who was leading the race. So, you know, it's not hurt him tremendously as far as points are concerned. In fact, if we get up what the points were just before the race, so Brendan Van Ryn 23 points behind, and really where he sits now, that won't be far off making 23 points on those two. So yeah.
You couldn't write this stuff, could you? If you sat there. Oh, actually, so I've just I've been in the server and I've seen we can't get it with the SDK playing up, but Matto was black flagged because of brake check with Aiden on lap 11. So it is. We were right now.
Way.
That's
Wow.
strange behaviour. So that's I'm not sure the thought line there. That's just
Gee, the
craziness,
championship battle
mate.
does things to some people.
It does.
Who knows? Well, yeah, I mean, it certainly looked that way. Whether or not, you know, and Trent would have to assess it on those merits at this point in time. Whether or not Matto hops into the chat afterwards and goes, oh, by the way, my pedal's disconnected or something like that, we don't know. But yeah, for now, that's a pretty serious accusation. Because it's a fairly ridiculous thing to do on that main straight there.
It's I mean, it's obviously not part of the fabric of the GSRC club to brake check and that sort of thing. And I mean, that's the first time I've certainly seen it and known of anything like that. We have had the odd scrape and all that sort of thing where guys have been a little bit rivalries here and there, but that's just been so bizarre. I'm still quite perplexed by it.
Yeah, same. Yeah, there has to be more of a story there. It doesn't. Yeah, like the thought process just doesn't add up, right? It's not even a championship rival. You know, yeah, I think you could see a little bit. You know, it wouldn't be good, but you see a little bit of logic in it otherwise, right?
Yeah. No, that would make a lot more sense. You're right.
But yeah, it's no, that's something else. That.
Sam, we're less than 2 minutes away from the end, and we have Jonathan Hooper remaining in the top spot. He has Chook behind him in P2. Brendan Van Ryn just a little bit off now, almost 6 seconds behind. And Aiden's still there in P4. Wayne Edwards, Phil King, Adam Johnson, Ben Woods, Justin Cotter, who we haven't really seen any of tonight, only because there's been action plenty further up the field. Those guys are holding their positions in 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and Sean Reese rounding out the top 10, who actually ends up putting in the fastest lap of the race at a 1:47.31. So, yeah, this is, I'm not entirely sure what else to say other than this is one of the strangest races I've seen, particularly from a championship contender.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it would be strange at the best of times, but yeah, championship contender in its final stages, and seeing both championship contenders either making you know, some serious mistakes or you know, causing mischief, which is, you know, a very odd thing to see. If you're coming into the championship, sometimes you're a bit jumpy, but you usually think better of wasting points.
And if you're anything like me, you don't get any points anyway because you're so far down the field. So any points that you can get are a bonus. So as we see, I think that's Sean Reese and Justin Cotter across the line, and Sean Reese did hit Justin there. So I think we'd be on the I'd say we'd be on the final lap now because we're ticked over 30 minutes and 22 seconds. So this would be the final lap for these guys. What do we have here? No changes as far as the leaderboard goes, other than Sean taking over Justin. And Matto and Greg are in P11 and P12. They're daylight apart from each other. But yeah, this is just truly bizarre.
It is truly bizarre, but what we can do is focus on Jonathan Hooper as he goes around the final corner, because he has he's raced a brilliant race. He's gotten through the carnage of what's ahead of him. He's stayed ahead of Wong and Van Ryn, who both have pace, and Schweikert, although there was an incident for him too. But a brilliant race from him. And actually, I think while he's a bit further off, no, he's not. He's not in that top 5. But we have seen him competing around the top a lot more recently, so it's good to see.
It is good to see. Yeah, totally agree, and it's great to see Jonathan cross the line, and it's also good to see a Red Bull livery not bashing into someone else, as you see in the official races.
It is a Red Bull livery at the front of the pack, though, so
that's true.
That's fairly normal.
Yeah, there's no denying that's par for the course in motor racing these days. But what are we? 32 minutes. So I can't tell if we're on the last lap or we've had the finish.
You can check the flags out, please.
It has. Okay, thanks, Trent. Trent, we saw the warning pop up.
Adam.
Oh, Adam, far out. Sorry, I'm having a woeful night. Sorry, Adam.
You can't be blamed. You can't be blamed, Adam. It's partly with the SDK and you're not having any overlays. So
I think like they were having trouble earlier today, and they had a fix. I was going to walk you through it in a break here and see if it fixes it. For, like, 'cause they had like a temporary fix posted,
okay.
so maybe that'll work for you.
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
No, it told me to download a new update when I got on, and I went, oh yeah, okay, new sounds good. And it has not worked.
First rule of SDK: don't do updates unless you got an hour to spend before you broadcast.
Yeah. Oh well.
Welcome to behind the scenes of the GSRC club.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for guys like Adam Lavis who have gone before us in figuring these sorts of things out and faults and updates and that sort of thing, we'd be stuck in no man's land.
Yeah. Otherwise, all my broadcasts would look like this if we didn't have all the style packs and that. So.
No, that's it. So we've had a 30-minute race happen and finish.
I might be coming to the flag. What's Barney doing here? Yeah, Barney's waving the flag now. So check the flag.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's out. So Hooper's taken the win. Very well done to him. Wong there in second. Van Ryn taking third, which he'll be really happy with, given Matto and Greg are down in 11th and 12th. Schweikert in fourth, which is relatively low position for him. But he'd get into some mischief with Matto there, which we'll have to find out some more about after the break. Edwards there in fifth, Woods in sixth, Adam Johnson in seventh, Phil King in eighth, Sean Rees in ninth, and Justin Cotter in 10th. And as I said before, those two championship contestants that were sitting at the top of the table beforehand in 11th and 12th, followed by cars that are a lap down, Soper, Colbraith, and Hoppert, who sort of had issues throughout that.
So we can pretty much be rest assured that as we go into the final two races, that 23-point gap between positions 1 and 2 and 3 has definitely declined. By how much, not entirely sure. But Brendan, that will give him confidence going into the final two races. He wasn't expecting, I don't think, to finish certainly top of the tree after tonight, but he will certainly have that on his mind come race 2 and race 3, which will be what do we have? I think we have a 30-minute practice.
So they'll have a 30-minute quali and then a 30-minute race for each of these. So they'll jump into that quali server in a couple of minutes and get started on another 30 minutes of quali, and then roll into the race.
Yeah, that server should be open now. The race will start around 8:30.
8:30, awesome. So that'll give us plenty of time to sort out the SDK issues, hopefully, and we like to be as professional as we possibly can, of course, and we don't like it when SDK or third-party applications aren't allowing us to be as professional as humanly possible.
Because the builder always blames his tools. That's what a good builder does. So, yes, it's the tool's fault. But we'll be back after the break. So these guys will have a half-hour quali, which we'll try and be back on probably in about sort of 20-25 minutes or so to cover the end of it. And then we get the second race of 3 races tonight.
Excellent. Also, we want to thank you guys for bearing with us, staying with us, and we look forward to seeing you guys for the remainder of the night.
You should get the other server up and running, because then you can have like the qualifying in the back.
Started out with half and I flipped it into double. Started out with half and I flipped it into double.
Said I'm again, we better go. Take one, then I dash away from Popo.
Yeah.
Snakes around my grass, they want my dodo. But I keep a 40, they don't know, no. Got the Henny, you get cold. Smoke on Reggie, that's a no-no. Driving slow-mo in the photo. Bitches ready for the photos.
I see all the things on my mind, yeah. Sticking to me like a 365. Cause this shit is real. Cause this shit is real. Cause this shit is real.
Don't say you get money, boy, you been broke. Digit dash up in my circle, you can roll. Only cash up in my vision in the south. Now I'm smashing on the model cause I bought.
Cause
this cream, I'ma take the team. We gon' be hot like steam. I just got the dreams, I got what you mean. It's all funny to the feet, I get 50 to my G.
Choose your fighter. Lightning in fire. Fight.
Welcome back, everyone. We are here back at Phillip Island for race 2 of the GSRC Up and Comers series. Drama galore, race 1 in the Skip Barbers. We are now racing the MX5s. You're with your crew that have been throughout Season A of 23. My name is Adam Tice. I'm with Sam Chapman. Trent Lavis is race control and has been for the series. And as we again come back to Phillip Island, we can see at the moment Chuk Fung Wong is leading the pack. We're coming to the end of qualifying actually. Chuk Fung Wong looks like he's made pole position. He has the fastest lap, 1:47.35. Sean Rees, who had a fairly substandard race 1 by his standards, certainly, is P2. Matto Madsen has made amends for his misfortune in P3 with Aiden. Well,
Aiden's misfortune, I think.
Aiden's misfortune. Sorry, I'm mixing my words. Aiden's misfortune, but what that does though is create a bit of a battle because he is in P4. So that will be something to watch, particularly early on with the guys so close. But what is great to see, Phil King. He hasn't had a superb season at this point, but he is P5. So well done to Phil. He's done an amazing job in the MX5. It must be one that he's been practicing in.
And some very quick names ahead of him as well, right? So guys we've either seen all season or we've seen another series or this series previously that have been fighting right up the front, like Wong, Rees, Matson, and Schweikert. But yeah, that Matson and Schweikert battle. It's interesting to see Aiden in 4th because he. When I was racing, he was just about unbeatable in these things, these MX5s. So, I don't know. I haven't seen him in the service much. Maybe he's a little bit rusty.
Or he could have got a bit of a knockabout from what happened in race number 1. Maybe he's being a little bit more careful, or do we think maybe there's a bit of a he's wanting to keep an eye on where Pete ends up and wants to make sure he's beside him on the grid, just to let him know that he's there. A bit like the old Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton type scenario. I know they're not teammates in the club, but that's probably the most recent famous rivalry. Other than there's one brewing between Perez and Max Verstappen at this point. So guys lining up now. Ready for race number 2. Thanks again for joining us. Another 30-minute race. The guys will be certainly looking at making sure that they get good starts off the line. All to play for. And Brendan Van Ryn is probably in the box seat to capitalise on his outstanding effort in the first race in finishing P3. But as we can see there, going down the list, I think Greg Paget is position 7, Dave May, Ben Woods. Good to see Ben up in the top 10. And Jonathan Hooper's kind of reversed. So the race 1 winner, he's down in position number 10. Followed by Wayne Edwards, Justin Cotter, Robert Colbraith, Adam Johnson, Brendan Soper. Trent Lavis not participating because he is looking after the potential shenanigans that may or may not take place tonight.
Well, if race 1 was anything to go by, he might have a bit of work to do. We've got, some very competitive guys at the top here, and then some guys as well. Brendan Van Ryn in 6th place, Greg in 7th. They'll be looking to make their way through the field. So, Phillip Island always puts up action. So does the MX5s. I am looking forward to this.
You and I both, Sam, and we also have the added benefit of cold tyres, certainly for at least lap 1. So
as well, I've just got on screen, and I'm not sure how visible it will be because we couldn't do it before, just the race results from the first race. As you can see, Van Ryn there bringing in, I think it's 49 points compared to Paget and Matson right down in the 30s, 20s there. So interesting things going on in the points at the moment.
It is. I couldn't quite read that on my screen, but that's okay. As the lights are about to go out, and the guys get away. Justin Cotter's probably the one with the with a slower start, but they're all off the line. Cold Tyres, MX5, Phillip Island, first corner. Let's see how they go. Chuk Fung Wong is out in front. He maintains his pole position. Smoking up the back. I don't know if anyone's turned around yet. I think there's a Bean Boss car off. No. Sorry, Justin Cotter, Robert Colbraith. I don't know if
Oi.
they've come together.
And that looks like Schweikert going around there on
Oh,
cold
Schweikert's
tyres.
gone around. Now a Bean. I spoke to earlier. But Brennan Van Rin's gone off. He's
Goodness
gone off.
me, and Hooper's going down the order as well. By the looks, yeah, wow, there's been a lot of moves at the front. So Schweikert down 10 spots. Woods down 3, Van Ryn down 5. Sean Rees has just taken the lead. So those, was it Sharp EIT cars having very different races. But then Wong's got him up the inside here. Matto is just sitting behind, hoping that he can just mop up whatever's happening ahead as these guys go side by side through here. Who is going to yield around this longer corner? You can go around the outside here and it helps you into the inside of the next. But no, Rees is going to sit back a little bit and let Wong go ahead. Wait for that main straight where I'm sure the slipstream will be strong in these MX-5s.
I did say right at the start that I thought Justin Cotter was slow off the line. I'm used to him being in a HRT livery. That was actually Matto that got a little bit stuck on the line, but he's comfortable right now behind Chook and Rees. So he'll be playing the waiting game, I'm sure. Brendan Van Ryn, with his off-track down at the Southern Loop, ends up going all the way down to P11. So that's really, really unfortunate for Brendan, but
as
we keep an
Sean
eye on the
Rees
leaders.
goes around the outside here, will he hold it through this outside? It's always a scary, scary thing to do, but no, he's going to give Wong that position back. He knows it's this longer race, 30 minutes. Going around the outside on that first corner can end that very quickly. So it falls back into follow behind, but he's got Matto for very close company. Phil King as well doing a brilliant job, just down 1.2 seconds on this leading pack, so we'll be hoping that they keep arguing and he can get back in that slipstream.
Yeah, that's a really good observation, Sam, because Phil's done an outstanding job in qualifying, and he'll be waiting with bated breath for anything to happen with the front three. And I can't remember if Phil's been on the podium at all this season, but he'll be looking to certainly change that if he hasn't. Brendan makes a move on Adam Johnson there, so Brendan looking to certainly move back up, replace the places that he lost. So he's past Adam Johnson and hunting down Jonathan Hooper. We don't normally see Jonathan so far down the pack, so I'm not sure if he's not used to the MX-5 or it's a car track combo, but he'll be pretty disappointed with that, I'm sure. And Greg Paget, the other championship contender, he's a little bit off the front four, but he's 3.5 seconds at the moment. He's fighting with Dave May, but he'll be looking to keep the top four in his sights and hoping, and maybe even work with Dave May to see if they can bridge the gap, move that gap down closer to the lead pack.
Just looking a bit further down the pack, that's Brendan Soper there with Woods for close company behind now. As well, Rees has taken the lead of this race from Wong, but Wong seems completely unconvinced that should last any more than a few seconds at any given point in time. Matto once again just sort of sits behind there, is quite content, keeping on top of that, but King is still that 1.1 seconds behind, and Greg is not all that far behind as well, 3.8 seconds down. So if him and Dave actually decide to work together, there is a chance that this could become a much, much bigger pack.
And Chook does utilise moving into the Honda Bend. He now overtakes the lead, or not overtakes it, takes the lead. I am actually just wondering if there is any penalty points for obscene paint jobs. Obscenely woeful, not through any obscene wording at all, but my goodness, that's just disgraceful. But that's that's nothing against Chook. It's just really bad on the ice. But that's none of my business. Back to the actual racing. Sean looking to come down. Does he take the inside? Is he going to get him under brakes? I think he does, but it leaves Chook with the advantage of being on the inside for the final bend. Matto just sitting back, just seeing what happens with these two. Phil King certainly closed the gap. He'll be waiting with bated breath to see what happens with what was bigger gap. He has moved that down from, I think it was 1 second. He is it's less than 1 second between the top four now. But what that has done is allowed them to move ahead of the Greg Paget Dave May fight. It's now 6 seconds back as we come into the right-hander. Sean Reese now takes the lead. And moving into the Southern Loop, I did a little bit of research just before this next broadcast, Sam. So I've got the track map up.
That's good.
Otherwise, I could get fired. So I wanted to make sure I'm right with the names.
Yeah, we're going to dock your pay, mate, I think, otherwise, if we don't get you doing your study beforehand.
That's it. But we were right. This is Honda Hairpin. They're moving into Honda Hairpin.
Oh,
the
yes.
guys, you can throw a blanket over them, really. And it is great racing, nice and fair, nice and close. Pete will be certainly aware of what went on in the first race and how it can all go pear-shaped very, very quickly. So he's just not... I don't know that he's wanting to make any moves at this point. It is a 30-minute race. We are only just ticking over 9 minutes in. But I'm super impressed with Phil King at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Matto has... learnt his lesson a little bit. He's just going to sit behind, not keep battling. Just let them battle up ahead, and as long as they're not too slow from the guys behind, let them take the risk, and you can take the reward if it all goes pear-shaped.
In terms of the championship too, all he needs to do is stay ahead of Greg, which he's doing at the moment. So there's no need to take any unnecessary risks.
Well, that's what was so surprising in the last race, right? Because he was a long way ahead of Greg. And yeah, it was a very unnecessary manoeuvre. So he's created a little bit of stress for himself that he probably didn't need to, and probably didn't have coming into the night. He seemed pretty positive coming in when I had a quick chat to him before the broadcast. So, and I think there is probably reasons to be positive right now. Given his current position in P3, and then the two ahead aren't really competing for this battle. P2 now, as Wong goes wide through there, and he takes that inside line, but it'll be on the outside line into Honda, which is a dangerous situation, depending on who's doing the braking behind you. Gets through okay, but he's going to be on the outside here, so won't make that move work, as Phil King continues to hang on to this pack, helping him claw forward. They're now 5.5 seconds ahead of Greg Paget behind, so doing a good job to make a little bit of a gap here.
And it has ended up being, we've got 2 packs of 4 at this point. So you can see in the background there, we've got Dave May and Wayne Edwards in a Bean Boss Racing sandwich of Greg Paget and Brendan Van Ryn, who's made up 3 spots from his off-track down at the Southern Loop earlier in the race. And so those guys, maybe they'll be, I think they're all in the Discord together, so maybe they'll want to be talking to each other and helping each other out to close the gap on the front 4. Phil King's just dropped off a little bit, not anything dramatic. And Pete's just dropped off ever so slightly as well. Again, nothing dramatic, but more so just probably playing the waiting game. Only 11 minutes into the race, and that is something different tonight, Sam. Too. This is the first time where it's 30-minute races for the whole night, rather than a couple of sprints and then a 30-minute or a 25-minute feature.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a different style. They have to be ready to use 3 different cars, which is quite difficult in a night, actually. Like, if on nights where I'm going from a GT4 to a GT3, it's actually quite difficult to get your head around, because they're completely different. And being on the same track can sometimes be harder because they've got completely different braking points. They do completely different things. So at least they've sort of had a half hour to warm up, but still quite a takes a certain skill to do that. I keep meaning to go back and have a look at some replays, but there is so much red on my screen and so much close racing going on, I dare not leave it, because you never know when someone's going to go off the track and we won't see that close racing again.
Speaking of close racing, Sam, if we jump to the lead four,
Yeah.
they are very, very close now. Look at that. That is, that's, yeah, blanket territory again, as I had said before. So it's, yeah, as we were saying, 2 battle packs of 4, and there's nothing between it. And really, all it takes is for one of them to make an error, and the others will capitalise, or it could end up poorly for if someone kind of spins or has an off track and comes back on the track too quick. But these guys are looking at, I mean, they're obviously utilising the draft as you do at Phillip Island in any car. So what Sean's setting himself up to go, he'll be on the outside for this right-hander, which will leave him able to capitalise for the left-hander. Is he able to stay off the grass? Yes, he does. And that's a good move by Sean. Chook very respectful in leaving enough room. Probably too much room actually, because he's allowed Pete to sneak up a little bit. Although that does allow, he is on the inside line for the Honda hairpin coming up. So Phil King not going anywhere. Sean locks up a front brake. Certainly a way more improved performance as they're approaching a back marker. That might be Brendan Soper.
Yeah, Brendan Soper ahead. So hopefully he pulls ahead through to the side through here, or on that main straight, because this battle is very close, and the slightest thing will significantly affect it. As they come down here, at one point those top 3 were within 0.2 of a second coming through that first corner. Soper takes that wide. Well, I say takes the wide line. It didn't look like an overall choice, given I think he went around afterwards, unfortunately. But yeah, look, it's back here in diamond formation. And as well, unfortunately for the pack fighting for 5th place, which Brendan Van Ryn has just gotten to the front of as well. They're down 7.5 seconds. Brendan Van Ryn, who is sort of the dark horse for tonight's battle, in 3rd place. You're down, it was 24 points at the start of the night, but had a much better first race than the other 2. He'll be looking to try and make that up, and also hoping that, probably deep down hoping that something happens to Matto here. But these guys are racing brilliantly. They're racing super cleanly, as we often see in the MX-5s in the social series. I've heard horror stories of racing in the MX-5s and in the rookies and that sort of thing. But in the up-and-comers, they're almost the car of choice, and they make a very good and usually not too fractious racing.
No, I agree. And look, the GSRC MX-5 racing is like eating caviar, and the MX-5 racing in the officials is like eating dog food. It's just a disgrace sometimes. So we're really proud of how these guys are racing. They're living up to their own potential, and also to the potential of the club racing and the club etiquette and the club rules. Fast, fair, firm is allowed, and yeah, as we've seen tonight, we have had a couple of instances where it hasn't been quite so, but 99.5% of the time it is. So Sean just really sticking onto the back of Chook. It's great to see Sean so far up, because he had a pretty horrible race number 1, and I'm kind of looking at the timing screen and seeing Mr. Aiden Schweikert all the way down in P10. So
yeah, so this is why I wanted to go back to a few replays. But once again, they're side by side going into the first corner. So they're making it very difficult for me when they're racing like this. And as I said as well, that fight for 5th, once again, it is just as close back there. If we have a look at Paget and Van Ryn and the two Beam Boss cars fighting off May and Edwards behind. But we've got to go back to this front pack because they're both side by side going into Honda.
So we've picked over halfway over the race. We're 17 and a half minutes in. And other than what happened on a couple of instances on lap 2, it's been very, very good racing from all and sundry. I'm still mightily impressed by Phil King. And I say that with the utmost respect, Phil. We don't tend to see you too far up the front, but when we do, we're pretty impressed with how you're going. And so it's great to see just kind of someone different battle it out with the front runners as they're coming around and making their way around Lukey Heights and coming down to the MG. How do you like that, Sam?
Mate, that was great.
Break.
That was excellent stuff.
No, thank you. Any accolades I can get, I will take for sure. But again, we're still seeing, close racing, which we're loving at this point. There is a little bit of a gap starting to happen, but as soon as it opens up, it closes up just as quick.
Absolutely, and I have to agree with what you were saying before. Well, yeah, maybe we don't see King up the front as often. One thing that has been great about this up-and-comers series is we have seen drivers that may not be up the top all the time, you know, taking those podiums and taking those race wins. It hasn't been, you know, what can sometimes be a bit of a two-tier contest. We've seen some really, really close racing every round, right to the top, just about.
And that's reflected in the championship points, isn't it? I mean, I don't know if it's happened in the club before, but to have two drivers, there's a little bit of a nudge. Matto gets into the back of Chook there just a little bit. No intent at all. But yeah, as we started the night with
687 points apiece. 687, right?
after what is it? 9 rounds, and it was 2 races around 18 races, and then. Position 3 is only 23 points behind, so it really just is a great advertisement for the series. Anyone who's watching tonight and is looking to join a series, and your iRating is under 1400 at the start of the season, you are more than welcome to join. I'm sure that we're going to have this as the main. We have had this as the mainstay on a Tuesday night. I'm sure it's going to continue that way. You will maybe see. You can jump into the series as long as you're under 1400. You can continue to race if you're above 1400, but as long as you're in the series race number 1, or your first race, actually, I should say, your first race is under 1400, you're more than welcome to join in. So what are we, lap 11? They've clicked over lap 11. We're hitting the almost 20-minute mark. And these guys, you just can't separate these guys. It's like stretching a piece of Hubba Bubba chewing gum and then seeing how far you can stretch it. But these guys are not letting go of each other at all. It's really only the top 2 that are changing, battling it out. Pete and Phil seem to be pretty happy where they are. The battle, the second battle of 4, that gap has eked out to 8.5 seconds now. Greg has now overtaken Brendan for P5. So Dave May still close behind. Wayne Edwards. Wayne's kind of the Phil King of that pack. So we don't often see too much of Wayne, and that's great that he can join in a battle. It always does make a difference that you're not playing the Lone Ranger, unless you're up front, of course. But that gives you an opportunity to race hard, race fair, but race well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I just see Sean Reese has gone off track.
Oh, goodness, there's a big gaps going on up the front now. There's been a massive accident because Matto is down 1.5 seconds on Wong. King is down 3 seconds. Now, I was going to go back to some replays anyway, but goodness me, this explains why. They were all fighting in such close quarters that, gee, anything could have happened in chain reaction. These guys. Let's see what's happened here.
So what's happened? They're coming in.
So Wong was already quite a way ahead. Looks like a touch on the inside, and Kings had to go wide to avoid it. Oh, no. Let's have another quick look from the chopper.
So Sean's going the inside on Maddo,
He's
and
gone a
he
little
a
wide
little
there,
bit
to be
wide.
honest. And then
Yeah.
poor old King's gone to... He's done well avoiding it, but he's lost a lot of time, unfortunately. And now Maddo as well is outside of Wong's slipstream, probably. Just a little bit behind. Yeah, 2.7 seconds behind. So really going to try and catch up. There is no investigation necessary for car 230 being Rees and Matson on lap 11.
Hey Sam, have a look at the name of the race control in the red there. That's very, very clever.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know.
Mikey, no.
I don't know if that was Adam or Trent, but that's very, very clever. That's giving me a big smile. Well done, boys.
Alright, let's have a quick look as well and see what happened at the start here, because Aiden has made his way up to 10th, but he was a long way back after having a crash at the start. This is him here. Oh, he's gone. Yeah, so he went around on his own. It was just cold tyres, and the cold tyres in these now are horrendous. And he's caused some mischief for some other people as well, trying to avoid him, unfortunately. Which may have been what happens to Greg Padgett here. They may have been avoiding. And there's mischief up the back there too. So,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. Greg's just gone to
Ooh.
avoid him. Gone off track.
Brendan's
Done
gone
pretty
out
good
there.
job keeping it there. But yeah, Ben Woods went off track early as well. So this was probably another one of these avoidance maneuvers. There is a warning for unsafe rejoin for Sean Rees on Greg Padgett on lap 11. So Michael Massey, it's good to see him back employed again.
It is.
You know, it's been a long time. We needed some drama. We needed some controversy.
I mean, he was out of a job technically. So he's a consultant for supercars and also race control for GSRC. So that's really good of Michael to join us and
That's good. That's good.
put his stamp on the club. But what I would note, Sam, while we're looking at a couple of replays, is that Greg Padgett has moved up to P4. So he's only 2 spots behind Pete Matson.
Oh,
That's going to be a little bit juicy going into the final race of the night.
absolutely, because he was only 1 place behind Matson in the race before due to effectively a brain fart on Pete's behalf. So, yeah, being only a couple of places behind right now, he'll be, you know, it's not the best position to be in, but realistically, it's probably at that point where if, you know, he can pull out a win on the next race and Pete can't make it past a 4th sort of thing, he's in play here.
He definitely is in play, and it'll make race number 3 the really, really tasty. So what it is? Brendan Van Rin's down P9, so he's currently P3 in the championship, as we've noted a few times tonight. So he's a little bit off the pace after his mishap, and Pete is now 3 seconds behind Chook. So Chook's really nailed wanting to be in the lead. He's used a few extra horses and is able to pull out in front. But Pete Matson is really in a battle with... Oh, no, okay. He was in a battle with Phil King. I wonder if something's happened to Phil, because he was 0.3 seconds behind and he's gone way down.
Oh, no.
What's happened to Phil?
Let's have a quick look at what's happened to the replay. So Phil King has crashed, sadly. So what's happened here? His camera... Oh, the rear's just gone on him. And he's brought it back on, but I think he's brought it back on wonky. Oh, yeah.
Good on him for getting out of the way. That was really well done.
Absolutely.
Sam, that now means Maddo and Paget
Goodness me.
yeah, line astern, championship wise for
Yeah.
sure.
And as well, Sean Rees seems to have been up to some absolute mischief in the last few laps. I'm seeing crashes, I'm seeing off tracks. So what's going on here? After a really good early race, these guys have really struggled. So there's, yeah, going around there.
I think that was the same portion of track where he got into Maddo
Yeah, I think
before.
you're right. So he's gone off track here as well. Potentially overcooked his tyres from before, and the rears. Oh, and now they're really cooked. Oh, that's very disappointing. He's going to have to be very gentle on them for the next few laps to try and compete once again. So the real fight on track now is really this this fight for third here, where Greg Paget is leading Dave May and Wayne Edwards. Wayne Edwards doing a brilliant job here while everyone else is going off around him to make 6 places up to 5th. He's the hard charger for tonight so far. So very good to see that. Greg's still almost 10 seconds down, 9.2 seconds down on Pete Matson, so that probably seems a bit far-fetched at this point. You know, unless there is a particularly obscure Matson brain fade. But yeah, he'll be hoping he can hold on to this position, and in which case, it actually probably comes down to who wins the final race, as to who wins the championship, just about. Because there are more points between first and second than there are between, you know, the 11th and 12th that they came in the first race, right?
Yeah, that's a good point you bring up, and I do know both Greg and Dave pretty well, and Dave and Greg are good mates, and I know Dave will not want to interfere in Greg taking out the championship. So Dave's probably, I'm just going to hazard a guess, Dave's probably just going to hang back, let Greg run his own race, but certainly will be aiming to finish as high as he possibly can, as he blinks out a little bit there. But yeah, I want to echo your thoughts about Wayne Edwards. He's had a great race tonight, and well deserved where he is. You're right, he is the hard charger, up 6 spots. That's no mean feat at all. And he's done really, really well. So he should be super proud of what he's achieved in this race. What do we have? What Maddo's done though, he's actually closed the gap ever so slightly on Chook. It's down to 2.5 seconds now. I think it was up 3.5 before.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, so if we have a look at the last lap, so Maddo did a 147.86. Chook did a 149. So big difference there. I wonder whether he has made a mistake at some point. He's gone on an excursion. Wong has come off the track, gone a little bit wide through here maybe, or is he hit? Yeah, he's just gone a little bit wide on this corner, and that's cost him a couple of seconds by the looks. But he's now started bringing that lead back out again.
And that's not an easy save to make as he's done there, because MX-5s on grass is a bit like ice skating, where it can go either way. It can either help you or certainly hinder you, and it's more so going to hinder you. But he's done well to keep it, get it back on the track, and only lose a couple of seconds for that lap. He'll, as I say that, he's just put in his last lap was a 147.44.
Fastest person on track though is Sean Rees down in 9th place. So his last lap was a 146.9. So he'll be kicking himself with these unfortunate errors. But Aiden Schweikert has got past him, so he is desperately trying to make his way back up. Aiden, I'd be happy to know that it's not a he gets to re-qualify for the final race. Yeah, and as well, our other sort of dark horse in the championship, Brendan Van Ryn, is sitting in 6th place. So that's looking less and less likely for him going into the final race. But given how things have been going tonight, Adam. Anything, anything could happen here. Whether Matson and Greg get into it, and Brendan can Bradbury it to the top, who knows? Because he is not that far behind, and he did have a good performance in that first race there.
You're right. Anything could happen. I mean, we could even get Barney to. Maybe we might find Barney jumping in a car tonight and taking out a race win or something. Like, it's been such a strange night. It's settled down a bit in race 2. It's just such a strange race 1. I think the guys know that there's definitely a championship on the line here. Phil King, as we have him on camera, he's put in he's had his off track from avoiding the race
As well,
incident.
this is the final lap as well. So we do see Wong taking the finish line there, 4.4 seconds ahead of Matson, who will now, I would imagine, be leading the championship. If we were looking at live points, we will hopefully have live points for the final race, as we have a look at positions changing and that sort of thing, and where this might end up. Greg Paget will be stoked with third, given how his race went up 4 spots. To have those guys fall apart in front of him it was excellent news for him to be 1 spot behind Pete and keep his championship dreams alive still, right? Dave May behind him. Edwards, another brilliant race there in 5th, which was good. Brendan Van Ryn in 6th. Didn't back up that first race, but still a solid result. King in 7th. Unfortunate for him. He was sort of a victim of someone else's error. He was doing a brilliant job sort of sitting behind that main front pack there until it all went wrong ahead of him. Then just followed by Hooper, Rees, Schweikert, who struggled from the start, had an accident there and couldn't really make too much headway from that point onwards. And Woods, Cotter, Johnson, Colbraith, and Soper.
And you would think, Sam, after 10 rounds, we'd try and get calculate the last lap correctly, but still, we we miss it. So apologies for not letting you guys know that we were on the last lap. It isn't on purpose, of course.
We just get too excited about the race at hand. We just don't. We go, oh, it can't be over already.
That's exactly right. We're getting excited. And speaking of the race at hand, and speaking of championship contenders, we actually have one of those contenders in with us. He's jumped in before qualifying for the last race. Pete Matson, thanks for joining us, mate. Little bit of drama in race 1, but race 2 turned out much, much better for you.
Yeah, certainly. All self-inflicted race 1, so just the red mist. But race 2 was, as you said, much better. And onto race 3. But geez, wasn't it close for so long?
Yeah, we were pretty excited. It looks pretty good from where we sit, Pete. But it must look even better from where you sit, even though you might be sweating bricks occasionally. It's how's the confidence going into the final race?
I haven't practiced the 86s around Phillip Island, so well, I've got 30 minutes to do that. So,
mate, we won't hold you up too much longer. We do appreciate you jumping in. Excitement, anticipation, nerves, all 3.
Yeah, all 3, and it'd be nice to get a snippet of where the points are sitting.
Yeah,
well, it's looking remarkably close. So we don't have the live points just yet. We'll be hopefully showing them throughout the race as it goes on. But I think you're probably slightly up. I don't think it's by a whole lot. And it looks like it could come down to just who wins this race, whether one is second or one is third and a first. So it is very close up there.
Sam, I think if you open the actual window up, it should refresh.
Oh,
here we go.
If I open the window up, it should refresh. Here we go.
If you've got it minimized, then OBS will just remember an image.
Yeah. Oh, it should be linking through to the actual data. It's all right. We'll work it out.
It's Matto. Finish in front of
Yes.
Greg.
Yeah, what about Brandon?
He ended
Oh
up finishing
goodness,
sixth
Pete!
in that one.
You're gonna love this when I get this graphic up. This is gonna be unreal.
Here we go.
All right.
Do we need a drum roll or something?
You need a bit of a long drum roll because I'm still pretty slow on OBS, but da, 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 da,
Yeah.
da.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna
I
happen.
told you it's gonna be slow, guys. So.
Here we go. Is that 2 points? That's 2. Is that 2? I can see.
That's what I
2
can see.
points?
2 points.
Yeah, it's
2
2 points, guys. It's 2 points.
It's 2 points. Going out
What
of
is
the race.
going on here?
Matto, do you regret not practicing the Toyota at Phillip Island at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, I should probably go.
All right,
I
mate,
think
we'll let
so,
you go.
mate. And just keep off the brakes on the main straight this time, yeah?
Yeah, there was a stick and it got in my rear wheel. It
Oh,
was crazy.
yeah, no.
That crowd will do anything for her to get on, Polly.
It was crazy. I'm going to penalise myself. That was terrible. So,
Good luck for this last one, mate.
all right, see you, boys.
See ya. Dave May, thanks for joining us, mate, jumping in the booth. You sat for most of that race behind Greg Paget. Was there any thought of wanting to take over Greg? I know you guys are good mates, and I know you fairly well too, Dave. I'm pretty sure you kind of wanted to stay behind, but was it just an inkling that maybe you wanted to get in front of Greg?
No, there was plenty of inklings, there's no doubt, but just sort of tucked in behind there. And look, I'm not a Bean Boss team member, so to speak, but Greg and I are good mates as well as all you guys in the Bean Boss racing team. So I just wanted to sit there. Was really enjoying the close racing with Greg and Wayne, but looking forward to this one. Should be good.
You've practiced the Toyota here at Phillip Island, Dave?
No, I haven't done any practice at all this week whatsoever in any car, so I jumping in the deep end there, ads, and get amongst it, mate.
Yeah, why not? Cause a bit of ruckus. That's what we want to see. It makes for good TV. And what Sam and I are aiming for is actually a Logie nomination. So if you could kind of help us out with that, we might see if we can throw a few bob your way, or maybe $5 worth of iRacing credits or something.
No worries. Well, let's see how we go with this one, guys. And thanks for the broadcast tonight. It's a long night, but hopefully everyone's enjoying in a different format, and seems to be working well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no worries.
cheers,
I think we'll finally outrate the project tonight. I've got a good feeling about it.
That's not actually too hard to do, what
Very good, guys. Thanks again very much, and we'll chat to you after this one.
Yeah,
Cheers,
chat to you
Dave.
after.
Look forward to hearing you afterwards, mate.
See you guys.
See ya.
Well, Adam, 772 points for Pete Madsen to 770 for Greg Paget. And we can't forget Brendan Ian, 757 as well, because if we do look at the results from that race, there's a 6 points difference between first and second, and another 6 points difference between second and third. So it looks like, unless they're below, fourth place, it will be decided by who wins this next race, who takes
exactly
that lead,
right.
unless one of them is sneaky and does a zero incident race or gets a pole position.
That's a good point you bring up too, Adam. Bonus points at play in this one.
Well, there'll be bonus points. There's points for the top 10 in qualifying and pole position and all that stuff as well. But also, just to clarify, so like at the moment it's saying it's only a 2 point gap. The gap's slightly bigger than that because currently Greg hasn't gone over his drop round. So currently he's got 77 points to his name tonight, which is currently still a drop round.
Okay.
So he's got a couple of extra points from another round that are ghosting on our championship list there. So it's the gap is more like 8 or 9 points at the moment. Because currently they come into the round equal. Currently for the round, Pete has 85 and Greg has 77.
Okay. Okay, so we want to thank Adam Lavis for his maths.
Once we get started in this third race and I pop some numbers in for the third race, that'll fix itself up and it will be showing what it is now.
Okay.
At the moment, we've got that little ghost for Greg, so it looks closer than it really is. It's a little bit bigger, but the gaps are still pretty close.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that, and thanks for all your work behind the scenes, particularly for tonight, with it all being so close. Yeah, we do thank you for all the hard work that you put in, guys. They are currently in. There's 20 minutes left in qualifying, so they'll be certainly eking out as much competitiveness as they can.
Yeah, so Adam, I think what we'll do is just go to a break for now. We'll jump into the next server and just have a bit of a break before quali, and then we'll jump on maybe 5 minutes before that and get prepared for this big final race, this big final championship battle.
Let's do it.
Easy.
It'll update live.
Choose your fighter. Lightning inspired. Fight.
Welcome back, everyone, to the race 3 and the final race of the Up and Comers series in season 23A. We are tight at the top. We are racing the Toyota 86s here, again at Phillip Island. I'm again joined by Sam Chapman, broadcast extraordinaire. We also have a special guest in with us for the final race, Mr. Grant Gill. Grant, it's fabulous to have you on board with us tonight. How have you enjoyed the night so far?
It's been
Standard up and comers race 2, bar a couple of incidences. It's all to play for.
It sure is, and I think you guys dropped out there for a while. I think my excursion to Melbourne, the internet was doing very well there for a while, but then Discord and everything restarted. But we'll make it through. Very excited about this, but we better get the camera on the right thing.
So we have qualifying has finished, and Jonathan Hooper has taken out P1. P2, guys, Ben Woods. Now Ben has been sort of at the lower half of the field in the 2 races tonight with respect to Ben, but he has put in a stellar performance. P2, Justin Cotter, another stellar performance in P3. Phil King's appeared where he left off in race 2. He's in P4. Chuk Fung Wong is P5. He's just moved down a little bit. Matto Matson, championship leader by a mere 2 points, not counting drop rounds. Adam, did you? Sorry. Yep.
I was quickly saying, I think with Sam, I think he might need to reload his server because with that internet drop, I think he's frozen the iRacing. So he might need to quickly log back in.
We'll be right back with you.
I think we can still talk in the commentary, but you just need to quickly reload the server so you can get the pictures up.
Okay, no worries. Thanks for that, Adam. And so we, Pete Manor Matson P6, Sean Reese P7, Dave May position 8, Brendan Van Ryn P9, Robert Colbraith rounds out P10, and second in the championship, Greg Paget was P11. The guys are gritting up as we speak, and as Sam's working hard in the background to get live pictures. So if you bear with us, we will do the best we can. Lights haven't come on as yet. We're still waiting for 1 or 2 more guys to jump in.
That's good. Tell them to take their time. Do the gentlemanly thing and don't wait for the when the light goes green, just wait until the broadcaster gets everything back on, because we don't want to Wizard Bridge at the start, but I think we might just lose the first half of the lap maybe as this internet comes back.
That's okay.
Yeah, you're hoping for the full track rollout of the rolling start, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. Someone's done a number on the server, and you end up doing a full lap rollout. That would be ideal. But so far the servers have been on point tonight, so I have a sneaking suspicion that won't be the case.
I was kind of hoping we might hear Grant Gill do the national anthem or something for the finale.
Oh, I tell you what, though, the girl that did it on Sunday, I thought she did a terrific job. Often they absolutely destroy the anthem, but for the GP, I thought she was right on point.
I agree with you there. She was mildly impressive. So the guys we're still waiting for the lights to come on. They're not far away. We're hoping that the internet kicks back in beforehand, so we can go.
Look, I'm at 61%. We could make this.
Adam's got the server up, so he can call us through the first little bit without pictures. He can do us a radio call. I hope he's got his piece of wood and a pen to make the sound of the ball hitting the cricket bat as they used to.
That's exactly right. They say I've got a face for radio. The flags dropped. The guys are off. Everyone's had a pretty good start. Matto currently. Oh, geez, I'm a little bit lost at this point in time. Here we go. Thanks. Oh, no, not quite.
Now,
Gosh,
again,
we're all over the place.
our gains and losers will be all over the place as well because of joining the server after the start, probably, because it's showing Ben Woods is up 10. So I think we can disregard that for the course of the evening.
Although it looks like we're back online, so that's Jonathan Hooper in front, Ben Woods P2. Yep, you're right. I've just caught on to that. Justin Cotter. So it looks like the guys have started, continued off where they started. Although, having said that, Matto has dropped down. He is one spot in front of Greg Paget, by the looks of it, and with Brendan Van Ryn. So 1, 2, and 3 in the championship are currently 7, 8, and 9 in the race. This is going.
You couldn't write a book about it, could you?
You actually couldn't. So what do we have at the moment? Hooper 1, Woods 2, Cotter 3, King 4, Wong 5, Reese 6, Matson 7, Paget 8, Van Ryn 9, May 10, Edwards 11, Johnson 12, Colbraith 13, Hoppet 14. No incidences to speak of. As
I don't think Trent's talking about authoring a book. I think he's talking about actually setting a book for the bookies and placing bets, because this is anyone's game.
Pretty long odds, I think, for all of the top 3.
Pretty long odds for all of the top 3, but I think Adam. Oh,
Justin Cotter's gone off, guys. He's coming back on, but I think he's managed to avoid everyone. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see any carnage, particularly with what's at stake for the rest of the race. Again, if you didn't catch us right at the start, expert commentary from Grant Gill tonight, who's been one of our stalwart commentators for many a race, and it's a real privilege to have Grant in with us, and along with Trent Lewis once again in race control. Thanks again to Trent for all his hard work for this season. No change between the championship combatants. They are still 6, 7, and 8. Actually, there's no change from 1, 2, 3. Sean Reese has moved up, though. He's overtaken Chuk Fung Wong.
Just going to summon in my inner Zach Caben here, looking at the stats. 2 laps into the race, the top 9 cars are still within 6 seconds of each other. It's insane.
Brilliant racing by the guys, and I think Adam Johnson's he's in the back. He's just gone off track. I think it was down at Lukey Heights, and I do want to apologise and thank Grant Gill for letting me know that it actually isn't Honda Hairpin anymore. It is Miller Corner, in honour of our awesome MotoGP rider Jack Miller, who's done an outstanding job in his career. We look forward to seeing more of him in the. Who do we see go off
that
here?
That is Chuk Fung Wong. So that gives these championship combatants in 5th, 6th, and 7th, who are fighting. They have been within 0.8 of a second for this entire lap now.
Paget now in front of Matson. So yeah.
Yeah, very well done by Paget there. And if we have a look at our live points, thank you to Adam Lavis. We've got Matson on 810, Paget on 804, and Van Ryn on 793. So every time a position moves, that championship, 6 points in it, could change.
Oh, Pete's gone a bit wide. Greg's going up the inside. I think there was a little bit of a touch. They've come out of it pretty well, although it's slowed down.
And then Van Ryn is ahead of Paget now, so...
Oh, does Van Ryn get ahead of Matson?
This is a Beam Boss sandwich. I'd be nervous if I was Matto here. Coming down inside.
Oh, the live time just came back.
Yeah, it's...
I don't think you're alone there. I've been watching the pings all night and swinging off the charts.
Yeah, we are
I think everyone is.
We're resorting to the mobile hotspot, I think.
I think there's been lots of internet issues the last week or so around the whole country, so...
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there was a major outage that took out pretty much every single town in southeast Queensland the other day.
Yeah, righto. Well, sorry everyone. While we get this rebooted, we'll have to.
Tyce's still got his live feed, I think, so he can still talk us through what's going on.
I can still go? Okay, sweet, no problem. So I've got the live timing back up, and Phil King's put in the fastest lap. He's at a 1:46.14. That's and he's in P2, so he's. I think if that's Jonathan Hooper in the Red Bull car, he is now off track. He's lost his lead. We'll have to confirm that. Jonathan does tend to run the Red Bull liveries, and I did see him off track here in the server. No change. Actually, there has been a change. Matson is now in front of Van Ryn. Paget not far behind at all, though. So currently, what do we have here? We got. Well, it's still telling me that Hooper's in front.
The live timing won't be working until Sam gets his server back up currently. But you just
in front. So King is 2, Reese 3, Van Ryn is now up for 4. So we have 1, 2, and 3 in the championship are now 4, 5, and 6. Although Van Ryn, who's 3 in the championship, is now in front of both Matson and Paget. Woods, Cotter, Edwards, Colbraith, Johnson, May, Hoppet, Wong round out our combatants. Sorry guys, now it's showing Hooper has come down. He's in P7, so somewhere along the line he's lost it. Phil King is now in front, although he's battling very, very tightly with Sean Reese. Sean, they're coming around the end of the southern loop. They are moving towards Miller Corner. Stones Corner now into Miller Corner. And Reese not giving an inch. King still holding on, although Reese has got good traction out of the corner, and he now takes the lead. The gap between Matson, Van Ryn, and Paget is close to King and Reese, so this can end up being a battle 3. But these guys doing really well. Sean Reese just eking out a little bit of a lead, but coming around and down into Lukey Heights. Phil King will be looking to utilise his braking effort, and now they're coming around the final bend.
And thank you very much, everyone, for bearing with our temporary radio show. Thanks to Optus 5G, hopefully it'll be slightly more reliable than whatever was built out of copper cables out the front of this house. So thank you, Adam, for sorting that out over that little interlude, and hopefully we can make it through to the end of the race, because I don't want to miss any of this.
No, we don't. I do want to say, though, that car 740, Robert Colbraith, does have a 5-second penalty with contact with Adam Johnson. So maybe at some point, if we can, we might be able to get a replay of that one.
As well, we've got a man that we were singing the praises of earlier on. In King, has taken the lead of the race as well.
He has taken the lead of the race, and he's had an outstanding last 2 races. Race 1 wasn't so good for him, but Phil's really stepped up to the plate and really put on a great show. He's not giving an inch. Sean Reese not letting him go. But we do have Matson, Van Ryn, and Paget close behind. They're not too far off the lead pack. It would really only take a touch from the front 2 to slow them down and allow the Championship 3 to catch up. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking at Matson here, who is in that podium position. I'll be interested to see how he races. Oh! So he's still looking fiery there. He may have been slightly misguided by us saying that there was only 2 points in it, and is racing to make sure he's ahead, even though he has a little bit of buffer zone at the moment. As long as Greg is behind, he definitely takes this forward. Greg would need to be probably a few positions up to take this from him. But we have seen errors from him tonight, and let's see what Van Ryn can do. He is only 3.5 seconds behind Sean Reese, this pack. So, and where does Van Ryn sit? Only 5 points behind Paget on the current live charts. which have just changed thanks to a change he's ahead. But yes, what's that? 1 point in it between Greg and Van Ryn right now. So, Greg won't want to lose second as well, will he?
Not at all. Greg will be dirty if he does, but Brendan certainly will want to make Pete fight for it for the championship win, as we can see on screen that he's doing now. Greg, he will want to strike as quick as he can, because it is one of those scenarios where the longer you wait, the worse the outcome. So. No change at the top. Phil King's still in front, but Sean Reese...
1-3 though. That's very close between Reese and King, boys.
It is very, very close. Thanks, Grant Gill, again for your commentary and jumping in tonight to help us out.
Whoa, and Reese goes for an excursion, and that's a dangerous place to be, and he avoids contact just. He takes that right wide just to avoid contact with King there. So now King has a dream run. He is 4.8 seconds ahead of second place. And Sean Reese is down.
Good night. Commentators' curse points are still working.
Yeah, who else do you want to point out, Grant? Make some enemies while you're at it.
I need to make any. I've got them all already.
Wide.
Yeah. Oh, how close does he get here?
Yeah, so close. So close.
Man, did a great job to get that out of the way.
Yeah, credit.
He did. That is full credit.
Passenger there, but well done. He's into the pits by the looks of it.
Absolutely. And these championship combatants are within 0.5 of a second as well. Even less right now. Ridiculous stuff.
And this is great racing by these guys. I know, like, I've jumped into a few different races throughout the week, and with Pete normally is up the front in other disciplines, and so just to see the likes of Greg and battle it out with Pete. Greg, certainly with respect to him, tends to be a little bit further down the field in other disciplines than Pete does. Just to see those guys battle it out and have battled it out for so long throughout this whole series is just really great to see.
I'll tell you what, Pete will be puckering immensely because Van Ryn's popping in and out on my screen here. So last thing Pete wants is for him to appear right in the middle of his car as he reappears. So there'll be a fair bit of caution here, I think.
I'd say so. He has been all night as well. So I don't know. Maybe he's in the area where I am. Let us know after the race where you are, Brendan. Maybe if the same issues that we're facing in commentary. But it seems to be a bit of a trait of Australian internet, particularly at the moment. It's never been good, but I'm seeing a lot of it.
Yeah, I know Brendan's actually just moved house, so he's moved further north in New South Wales, I think. I know it's New South Wales.
Moved to Dave May's house, has he?
He could have. So, guys, just want to point out, there is a purple and orange car on the back of this pack.
There is.
So this prove interesting. Pete's split the Bean Boss guys. He's making sure he's not going to hang around. He wants to command what happens within this race and let the Bean Boss guys know, hey, I'm number one in the championship and I want to remain number one in this battle as well.
Am I going to have to start a Sam Chapman bingo page? Because starting to complain about the internet, that's number one on the list.
Oh, you haven't heard me on commentary enough. I did come up with the same things. My vocabulary is not as wide as yours, Grant. So you have to get some witticisms otherwise.
We'll pretend. Robert Calvary is in pits and out.
Thanks for that, Grant. He is. While these guys are battling, Phil King's just kind of ridden into the sunset. He's now got a 6-second lead over these guys. Ben Woods has decided to tack onto the end of this battle, right up there. So he's kind of got his eye in when he's now that he's on the circuit. And obviously, having raced this track for the third time tonight, these guys will certainly know the nuances of turn-in and braking points, although a different car, but they'll certainly be well-versed in how to get around the track.
Now, I haven't driven the 86. I've had a bit of a self-imposed layoff. What are they like on drafting, and who out of these guys was strong during the 86 portion of the season?
Well, as far as
Uh,
drafting's
yes.
concerned, like they're pretty. You get a fair bit out of drafting, similar to your MX5s and that sort of thing, and just about anything around Phillip Island, you get a fair bit of drafting. So we see Brendan Van Ryn really dropping out there. I hope he stays on the track at this point. They're quite grippy, so you can really take them around a corner, as long as you do. It depends on the setup. I'm just not sure if they're running the fixed setup and whether they got TC or not. Oh,
no,
as we
Pete
see
around.
Pete going around.
Oh
Huge.
no, that's massive championship implications.
Sorry,
Pete's around.
and Pete,
Oh,
who was sitting in front, sitting pretty. On the live points, it was 14 points. No, not 14 points. Quick maths. More than that. And wow, that's now
Better
tightened
get your
up.
abacus out, Adam.
And
drops
Greg
you behind
Padgett
things.
takes the current lead. If these positions were to stay the same, Greg Padgett would be ahead on 818 points, with Van Ryn on 817 and Matson down to third at 814. What a tragedy for Pete.
oh, that is such a shame, guys. Do we think Mr. Van Ryn moves to the side come end of the race time for 1G Padgett to take the victory?
It depends if one of the Bean Boss boys is in the watching the stream and is in Discord with them, because they won't know exactly the points coming into this. But yeah, look, as I would think they would anyway. He'd just step aside and they say, "There you go, Greg, take the champs."
On a side note, what happened to Phil King? He's dropped down the order.
It's a great question. There was so much
Around the
going
same
on.
time as Pete Maddow, I think.
Yeah, I think I saw him off track there.
Yeah, he
But it's a
did.
good point you bring up, Trent. Yeah.
Let's have a quick look now.
Oh, just runs wide.
Oh
Rebel,
no.
yeah.
So
he
easy
does.
to do. So
It's
easy
gonna
to
be
do.
what?
A little bit
Yeah.
narrow on the
Gully.
apex,
Yeah.
little early on the throttle, and out she goes. And there
And
was
then-
Pete in the background of that shot.
Yeah, so was that sympathy from Pete? He sort of saw it out of the corner of his eye, maybe. So what's he done? Oh, he's gone in pretty hot through here, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's just on the marbles and taking it out. Wow.
Let's go slightly off camber there as well, and it just says, "Come and see me in the ocean. Come and see me in the
Yeah.
ocean." And,
Yeah. He got lucky he didn't end up so far away, because you can just end up so far off track if you go wide on that corner. You never get back. Wow, that has thrown a cat amongst the pigeons in this final race, with the live points being 4 points apart for the top three.
well, that'll do no 0 points for Pete, because he'll have picked up an incident there. He didn't get pole position. Looking at fastest lap, and I don't think he's got that. So they probably won't be factored into Adam's spreadsheet at this point in time, although they may well be, knowing that we have the two spreadsheet genii in the Lavis brothers in the room. But this will go right down to the wire.
Won't it?
So bonus-wise, the qualifying bonuses are on, but the fastest lap and points gained one won't be added to the end. All X's.
Ah, there's that one as well. Yeah.
What about 0x, Adam? Have you got any info on who has a 0x and who doesn't? Because mine's obviously been crashing in and out.
I haven't loaded the server. If I was in the server, I could look, but I haven't gone in the server to check it. So I'll find out at the end of the race.
Yeah,
No,
all
Woods
right.
isn't done with this. Woods goes past Padgett, boys.
He does. He does too. Woods is going to spoil the party, the Bean Boss party. So he's moved in front of Padgett.
And that will put
coming around
Padgett
the
back
southern loop.
to second place, I think. With Van
Brendan just had
Ryn.
a huge moment.
Wow.
He almost lost it through the southern loop.
It's action aplenty. Ben's not hanging around either. He's not wanting to hang in, be the Bean Boss sandwich here. So as they're coming up to Miller Corner, he's looking. Is he going to do a Carter? No, he's not. He's too far back. So they're coming up to lap traffic. I think that's Robert Colbraith in that bright yellow car there.
I think so. And yeah, that order's
that's
changed
going
again.
better than Van
Padgett
Ryn.
is down to third in the live points now.
Van Ryn's leading live points.
Van Ryn is leading the live points by 3, with Matson 3 points behind him and Greg 2 points behind again. So this order has been every which way in the last few laps. Everyone has led the championship in pre-points at some point. Incredible stuff.
I think the only person that hasn't led the championship this whole series is Trent Lavis, but he's no, it's been fantastic racing. I do want to point out though too, we've had trouble with getting our socials on screen tonight. So I know people have been commenting on Facebook and so forth, and we normally would have you appear on there, and we love to hear from people tuning in, but unfortunately it hasn't been able to work. Here comes Woods.
That'll change points again.
It will do.
And Padge is going to follow.
I wonder if Brendan knows the implications of if he's letting Woods through
I don't know.
in terms of the championship.
Well, that puts
Because
Pete
there's
back
now
on.
3 points in it. 3 points in it.
First
Matt's
to
at
third,
8:14.
Oh,
Oh, goodness me, what happened behind
there?
there?
Venrin's coming back.
Oh, Phil King just crashed.
Phil King's had an
Bring Peter
accident.
up. Pete now sitting in fourth, 7 seconds, nearly 8 seconds behind this trio.
Adam's,
Brendan's going to get Woods back though as well. So Brendan's gone. No, I don't like being behind in the championship. I'm gonna take that back. Third place doesn't suit me. I want to be back up in first. He's actually pulled out quite a lead from that too. So and Greg will be a bit frustrated he can't get past Woods here.
Woods seems to have the pace, though. He went past Van
Does.
Ryn down the main straight pretty well, so he gets a good exit out of that final corner, and he's right with him coming up into Lukey Heights. As you say, Greg Padgett just dropping about a second back. And lap traffic, as you said.
Adam Lavis should have hired a personal assistant for tonight meeting. But as you're right, Greg, Ben Woods does seem to have the pace, and particularly down on the straight. We'll see what happens here, because Robert Colbraith I'm pretty sure that's Robert right in front. Robert will move to moves to the far right. Van Ryn wants to utilise a little bit, as much of the draft as he can.
Here he comes. That last corner is a corner I can never quite get right. I can stick with people around the lap and be quick, but when it comes to that final corner, I just can't get the run onto the straight. So Woods has got that dialed in, and it's doing him great favours.
And it seems to be that the straight kind of bookends the two differentiating corners, Grant. Because if you get that final corner right, you tend to get the first corner wrong. But Woods has really got momentum here. He's going to Brendan covers coming around Miller corner.
Absolutely, and Brendan should cover, because on live points right now he's 1 point ahead of Matson in second. So he needs to hold on to this spot. Goodness me.
Pete's starting to make a little ground on these guys too, down to 6 3/4, but we've only got 5 minutes left in the race already, boys.
Wow, hasn't that flown?
So, and Padgett's right up beside Woods now. He's looking. Is he going to make a move here?
Not a good place for it.
Woods' ease is off.
He had to. He would have been in the weeds.
So, geez, that changes the point standing again, maybe.
Padgett leading 8-1-8, 8-1-7. Peter goes back to third. Now just 5.5 seconds behind this trio.
Oh no.
With that move for second, Greg is now leading the championship points by 1 point. There is 2 points between the top 3 drive cars.
Oh no.
So also at the moment, if Greg is 1 position behind Brennan, he gets bonus positions gained, which is another 2 points. But if there's a car between them, Brendan gets it for the 2 points.
Oh, wow.
Right. Okay. So really, Ben Woods can dictate. Oh
Oh!
no! He slides off. He slides off.
He can no longer dictate it. He is gone.
But that brings Pete up.
Peter up 1 place.
And that puts Pete in the lead, doesn't it, I think? Oh my goodness.
Hill King holds fastest lap of the race at the moment by my reckoning at a 46.14. Oh, Ben Woods would be kicking himself. But that is, as I said on last night's broadcast, that's a differentiator between your up-and-comers and your elites. A lot of these guys are quick, but the consistency can just let them down at times. But he'd been racing so well to that point.
So currently, this would have Pete and Greg tied because Greg's currently got the 2 points from positions gained. So it would depend if Greg's got a 0x or not, whether it's a tied series.
Oh, my.
wow.
So if
And
it's a tied series, is it a count back, Adam? Or what is it? Does everyone get a prize then?
We'll have to have a look into it.
So it's never happened,
create
has it? Is this new?
We haven't had a tie for the win before. We've had a tie for like third, so it wasn't as like controversial. But tie for the win, we'll have to have a chat with the guys and decide which is the best way to go.
Well, how good
And
that
if-
you got the live points up for tonight then, eh?
And if Padgett gets by Van Ryn or Van Ryn lets Multi 21, where do we go there?
Just on a side note, the change of lead in the championship point ladder during this race would have been a fantastic drinking game.
The broadcast has already been disjointed enough. I don't think we need to, add that to it. We've been another planet.
Pete Matson sets his fastest lap of the race of 46.55, running 5.3 behind these guys.
And we have, what do we have, guys? We got 2.5 minutes to go.
Yep.
If live timing's right, Pete has the fastest lap, so that's 1 point to Pete. So then that puts him ahead. If there's no 0x for Greg, so it's all on.
I've got Phil King at a 46.14, but would that have been an incident?
Oh, I've got. Oh, sorry, I got the columns around the wrong way.
And
So
mine
there's-
could have reset if we're using mine,
Possibly.
given the crash. So we're even flying a little bit blind on this to some extent. We might have to wait till it might be a countback after the points come in to make sure that we've got this right.
Well, we white flagged this time by, I believe, so we haven't got long to find out.
Oh, guys, thank you actually for that because I've been woeful this season with noting when markups are.
I think what's catching you out is you're using your clock on iRacing, which is 2 minutes ahead of the actual race time, because it includes the grid up down on that clock you're looking at. So your clock says currently like 30 minutes and 30.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is why in so many of my early races I ran out of fuel, thinking I was going to fuel up for enough laps to get to the time, because I was looking at that timer. It's tragic. Why does it time like that? It's so frustrating.
And I've seen Barney actually wave the white flag, guys. So Adam is right, of course. This definitely is the final lap.
These two
Brendan
properly
and-
fighting as well. They're doing 2 seconds a
Yeah.
lap slower than Matto and Hooper behind them. Now Matto is too far back to catch up unless there is an error on the final lap. But he's still only 3 seconds behind. So if these guys actually get into it, because it doesn't look like there's team orders at this point, does it?
Adam,
No,
you're a member of the.
Greg's kind of the captain of the team, so does Brendan let the captain go through?
Well, does Brendan know that this is actually for the championship?
Well, actually, he might not, to be honest with you, because he was kind of saying, "Oh, I'm probably a little bit too far back."
Adam,
to make
do you
any
need to
difference."
jump in another Discord quickly, or?
I'm trying to remain impartial, guys. That's as professional as I can be. But
Pete's leaving nothing. He's leaving nothing on the track. 2.4 seconds now. He's giving it everything he's got. So coming to the checkers, aren't we?
we
What
are.
will
We
play
are.
out?
Wow. So
I mean,
yeah, 2.1 behind from Pete. Brendan does look like he's got this now. He's 6/10. He's got 6/10 on Greg. So then there is that real question mark. Does he have a 0x race?
Well, we'll just put it out here now. Brendan Van Ryn will be looking for a new team, ladies and gentlemen. So if you'd like to pick up a fairly handy driver, will he pull over at the last moment? No, he will not.
Yeah, we're about to hit silly
Van Ryn,
season.
great race.
Well done. Brilliant racing up the front there. And after all that, these guys started, what was it, 7th, 8th, 9th or something? They're the 1,
Yeah,
2, 3
something
at the end
like
of it. They're the 1, 2, 3
Yeah.
at the end of it.
Wow.
I don't think Brendan realised he might have just won the championship. He's didn't sound overly impressed on the radio, so we'll see. Have to get him in the commentary box and have a chat.
Oh,
Wow.
no. Oh, no.
That's look. I'm not sure. I'm going to remain quiet in the team meeting. we'll just we'll wait and see. But I'll
Yep.
tell you what, guys, it was a fantastic race. It wouldn't be an up and comers race without a little bit of drama. And so, thanks for joining us, Grant. Real pleasure to have you along. I know you've done plenty of commentary in your time, but it's always great to have you aboard and helping us out.
My pleasure throws back to my days in the up and comers, which I was fortunate to win one year as well. So Pete's tagging along by the looks of it. He's got an AM split P1. He's also looking a bit like an up and comers P1, but he'll be kicking himself after that error out there.
Well,
And
it's still quite. We've got to check these bonuses. At the moment, there's only 3 points covering them. So and there's still bonus points to play out here. So I've just got to wait for the final results to come through so I can put those bonus points on and see where we're at.
Yeah, one
And
clean
Adam,
race,
what a-
1 point. My God.
Yep. What a great addition to the broadcast, Adam, the live points. That was incredible. I hope your fingers are all right.
Wasn't it? And it adds to the drama that we have all three championship combatants in the broadcast right now with us, waiting with bated breath on Adam Lavis is in the background feverishly working the abacus and a calculator and calling on
His
an
fingers.
Elon Musk satellite, that sort of thing. And we've also joined by Ben Woods as well. So I don't know who to throw to first. I'm excited.
Well, we would throw to the championship winner, but we're not quite sure. So
We're not
for
quite
context,
sure yet.
guys, the leader for the championship switched up, I reckon, at least 8 different times throughout that, and you were all in third and all in first at one given point in time. So it's going to come down entirely to who has bonus points. At this point, it is Matson on 820. Greg, you're on 818, and Van Ryn on 817. So, Greg, did you have a clean race by any chance?
I actually did. I had,
Oh! Well, that could be the decider then, because that, I think, is 3 points. So let's see what happens.
Hang on, boys. There's the fastest lap bonus point.
Oh, it could be.
Well, I'm seeing Phil King with a 46.14 on live timing, but
I'm seeing that as
that
well.
might have been off track assisted. I'm seeing you, Pete, with a 46.55. So
I'll
Uber
be
was a
sacked.
46.27.
I'll be sacking my spotter, mate, because he was like, "You've got the fastest lap."
With bonus points, it looks like we'll wait for Adam Lavis to confirm that.
We will wait for Adam Lavis to confirm it, but at this point, Greg, the bonus points do look like it might have got you over the line, and it looks equal for second place on 820 points at this point. So I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Adam, do you have some extra intel for us?
I'm just now checking Trent's RC sheets. I wrote the scorecards for the penalties. So I think that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. Congratulations, Greg. It looks like you won the championship by 3 points. And there's an equal draw for second place on 823 points behind. Well done. What a brilliant championship.
Yeah, absolutely, mate.
Well done.
Thanks, Pete.
Good on you, Gregory.
I did my best, just rolled away the last race. Might have cost me, but
it almost
we don't have team orders.
Yeah, GP, we were wondering if Brendan was going to pull over or not. He didn't pull over. Does he get sacked from the team, or what happens?
You know how we race, Adam. We're pretty fair. We just race each other, and what happens, happens. So,
it's good, mate.
If we had team orders, it would have been to take Pete out, but we didn't have them. And I am super stoked to win the first championship for our little team, and thank you all for the racing and everything, guys.
No, well deserved, Greg. And I think what should be said is that this series is not the only series where Greg and I are either in front of each other or behind each other. So there's some good racing all around.
That's an understatement, Pete. It's understatement of the year, I think, Peter. The racing out there was absolutely top notch. Door handles, and mirrors rubbing that nary a problem amongst you. So credit to all of you for racing in such good spirit.
Yeah, thanks, Grant.
Thanks, mate.
Except for race 1, mate, which I need to apologise
I
to
missed
Aidan
that bit.
for. So, yeah.
I missed that bit.
So, public apology. Sorry, Aidan. It certainly wasn't in the spirit of the club.
That's Pete. That's yeah. Congrats to you for owning up that. We know that's not your nature. We know that's not how you race. And sometimes, I think we've all been at that point where we've had a bit of the red mist has come down and we've had a bit of a brain explosion. And but that's certainly shouldn't dampen the fact that you were third in the tied for second. I won't say third, tied for second in the championship. I don't want to seem too biased here. I want to remain as impartial as I can, but be real.
Pump me up, pump me up.
Speed boss, mate. It was speed boss. There was bloody cars everywhere.
I wanted to jump to be in for a second because at the beginning of the night he was 23 points behind. So, Brendan, brilliant effort tonight to make up all those places and remain consistent. And you must be super stoked with that as well.
Super happy. I threw it all the way on that second race. I was there. I had it, and bloody MX5s. That's all I can say. But big congrats to Greg, Pete.
Yeah, good on you.
Yeah. I mean, we've got to cast the thousands in tonight, but we do want to focus on the top three just for a little bit longer. Greg, you said obviously you're super stoked about winning tonight. Was when you were coming into tonight, was there one race in particular that you were thinking about, or were you just kind of taking it one race at a time?
I just take every race as it comes, mate. You saw in the skippies, I did my best to lose the championship, and thankfully Pete had a few issues and able me to finish one spot behind him when I thought all was lost. So yeah, it's the way it's been all season, as Pete said. We're always pretty close, and I was just happy there was no incidents up the front in the Toyotas, really. But all three cars have been fun all year, mate. It was fantastic.
A question. Oh, no, go ahead, Pete. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, Dave May putting it together, just awesome. Great selection of cars and tracks, and a bit of work behind the scenes.
Which is an excellent segue to Mr. May. Thanks, Pete. I'm sure you'll be joining us in commentary next season. We appreciate that for volunteering yourself. Just joking. Dave May, you've joined us. Thanks very much for all you've done behind the scenes, setting up practice servers and so forth. Exciting night for us here in the commentary box. For you in the car, were you happy with how your racing went?
Well, to answer that question, firstly, I was definitely out of practice and out of talent tonight and most of the season. If I'm honest, I haven't had a lot of time this last period to get on the sim so much. But look, it's always great fun running with these guys. Firstly, congratulations to Greg, very well deserved, and also Pete and Brendan for putting on a great show up the top there throughout this season. Really enjoyable in setting up some servers and becoming involved with that, and hopefully everyone's enjoyed it. Tonight went off well, I thought, and there was an idea that we came up with right at the start of this 10-week series, and again, glad everyone's been able to plod along with the up and comers, and there's a great group of guys that we all have a top Tuesday night and all get in the Discord and enjoy our company together as well as racing. So thanks to everybody, and hope you enjoyed.
Just want to jump in. Hey Sam, if you switch to the full championship thing, if you have a look, so it's after tonight's race, other than Greg, everybody has moved up or down.
Oh goodness me. Alright, we'll keep talking. I'll do some behind the scenes and we'll get the full championship thing up and going.
And on that note as well too, thanks to you guys for jumping on and doing some broadcasting for us. It's always great watching it back, and we all very much appreciate it. Thanks very much for doing that throughout the season, and look forward to the next one.
No, I appreciate you listening while we're learning. Getting that.
Yeah, look, we've kind of grabbed a few different ingredients and thrown it in the mix and come up with something I'm not entirely sure, but we've made it to the end. And we do appreciate everyone watching it back and watching it live as well. We are learning as we're going along, and we know it's not super polished, but we give it a red hot go, and that's what being part of the club is about. Whether you're commentating, broadcasting, race controlling, or just driving, give it a red hot go. You never know where you might end up. I want to just jump to Ben Woods for a second. Ben, thanks for hanging around and joining us in the com box. We were noticing, certainly in the Toyota race, you were playing a big part in how the championship was going to end up there, Ben. But unfortunately, had that off track near the end there. But overall, it's been a pleasure to have you in the series. How have you found the series?
Oh, amazing fun! I can't wait for next season. The race tonight was stressful. The last thing I wanted to do was punt any of the championship contenders off the track. Just got in my own head at the end there. But it was great fun. Congrats to Greg. Well deserved.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Yeah, so well, it'll be good to have you back next season, Ben. It is you, as one of the newer members of the club. You know, and this being the series where kind of the newer members of the club, such as certainly for Grant, myself, and Sam, we kind of started here in Up and Comers or social series as we joined. How have you found the series overall?
For the 4 or 5 weeks that I've been joining the races, yeah, it's great to cut my teeth on. I jumped into the GT3s this week as well, just to get something a bit different, and yeah, I absolutely love it.
Awesome, Ben. Thanks for joining us. We look forward to having you back next season. And thanks for joining the club. And thanks for being a part of the Up and Comers series.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. I'm going to go back and watch your brilliant broadcasting now. But enjoy the rest of your nights.
You'll enjoy some radio for part of it and in bits and pieces of intermission. But yes, it was a fun one to watch.
Good. It's good.
I'm just going through the list. Who have we got? Jonathan Hooper. Jonathan's with us. Jonathan, thanks for joining us. You're on. Yeah, there you go. No, yeah, you're on mute. Look, thanks for joining us, Jonathan. You certainly were in the mix, absolutely, for tonight. And from memory, you're a race 2 winner. Correct me if I'm wrong.
First race.
First race.
First
Okay,
race,
I knew. I remember Jay Hooper being up there somewhere. So
it's been really good. It's been a good fun series, and well done to Greg. And yeah, no, it's awesome. Really good.
So Hooper got third for overall for the night. So he got 144 points for the evening. So third place overall for the night. Good showing.
It's awesome. Fantastic.
Well done, Jonathan.
Yeah, cheers.
Jonathan, we're going to see you next season.
Definitely. Yep, definitely. 100%. No, it's been it's a great club, and I really enjoy it. So it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Awesome. Was there? I know you won the first race. I'm going to assume that was kind of your highlight for tonight. But is the Skippy the car that you enjoy, or was there one race that you were kind of looking forward to more than that?
No, I probably enjoyed the 86 more. I reckon. It's a bit of getting used to, but sort of once you get it down pat, it's just getting it warmed up, I suppose. It's a bit of a different car at the start, so just getting it warmed up, and yeah, it's good fun once it's up and going. Definitely good fun.
And I'm just going through the final championship standings here, Jonathan. You missed the first 3 rounds of the series, and then you missed round 6 as well, but you still ended up in position number 9 for the series all up. You must be pretty impressed with that, even though 4 rounds were missed.
Yeah, it's pretty happy with that. So it can only get better. So just keep trying and try and do better next time.
Awesome, mate. Well, thanks for joining us. Look forward to catching you next season, and we look forward to seeing Jay Hooper further, certainly up higher. Well, certainly up consistently high in
Somewhere.
in the standings. No, I'm mixing my words here.
No, that's good. Thank you, and thanks for everyone. I know there's a lot of work that goes into this, so thanks for everyone.
As the champion incumbent, you actually take over from our broadcast extraordinaire, Sam Chapman. You must, like, I know you said you were super stoked to have won it, but even for yourself, Greg, just fill us in a little bit on how much of a personal achievement this is for you.
Oh, from when I first joined the club, as Grant will probably tell you, I was always up the back and just trying to avoid causing other people incidents. And but the amount of friendliness, especially from this series, and people willing to teach you and that sort of thing, and been numerous times where Grant's telling me like, keep your eyes forward, don't watch your mirrors when he's coming up behind me, and all those little tips and tricks and that they all sort of work. And I found like consistency is the best way to put yourself in a position to win a championship, and that's just keeping the car on the track. Everybody knows, like, I ain't the fastest guy out there, but I like to try and finish every race, and with minimal mistakes, and just the help from everyone in this club is just fantastic. Even like Adam and Trent, what they do is just amazing, and the whole committee. And Dave's he's a part of our team. He's a big part of our team, and we appreciate what he does for us as well. But the whole thing, it's just like, I can't believe I actually won, mate. So I'm really,
Well
I'm
done.
really happy.
Bloody
Well done
legend,
to you,
mate.
Greg. Yeah, well done, Greg. I know, my advice wasn't groundbreaking or, it wasn't rocket scientist stuff, but I know you were frustrated immensely during that early phase of your driving that whilst looking out and trying to be at the minimum hazard that you possibly could, you were caught up in a lot of incidents with other people, and I think very unfairly copped a bit of stick here and there, but you really took it to heart as well, and that's where I think a lot of the contributions from others, for you to stick with it and stick to your guns and try and keep an eye on your race rather than others, because you can't control what they do, has certainly borne fruit tonight. So I'm glad to see it. I'm really thrilled, and look forward to seeing you moving on and up from here.
Yeah, thanks so much, Grant. I really owed people like you and everyone else here in the club a lot. They're just so willing to help you if you ask. Like what Trent does every week in this series is just fantastic. You go out and put a couple of laps down and try and help us all get quicker. It's just really appreciative of that. And I hope next season the championships is just as good as this one and finishes just the same as, a lot of people up the top fighting for it. So I'm sure it made great viewing. I can't wait to go back and watch it.
Yeah, no, Greg. Well, you'll be watching and listening because we had a little bit of internet issues tonight, but we made it in the end, and the most important part was we were able to see the last 3 quarters of the final race, and again from all of us, congratulations. You take your racing very seriously, and I know I've heard from many people the massive amount of improvement you've made, but most importantly, you're a hell of a nice guy to boot, and so it goes. You're a very deserving winner, and so congrats to you, and we look forward to more of Greg Padgett on the track for sure.
Yeah, thanks very much, Adam, and thanks, Sam, for the broadcasting and that as well. You guys did a great job this year. Even we see 6 races, it gives a little team a bit of exposure, and just fantastic racing. So thanks to everybody.
Is there a sponsor that you'd like to thank there, Greg?
Oh, yeah. Thanks for that, Grant. I better say shout out to Sue and John at Bean Boss up there in the Maitland area. If you're ever up there, grab yourself a nice cappuccino or whatever. It's really nice coffee, and they're a really, really great bunch of people. They help their community out so much when when the floods and that were on, and that they're really top-notch people. So, yeah, thanks, Sue and John, and yeah.
PP, was there anything in our sign-up contract where if the team won a championship, we'd get free coffee for life or anything like that? Or?
I'll talk to Sue, but I get free coffee for life from him anyway.
You've already got a sweetheart deal. You've got a 1-2 as well, by the looks. It might be an equal second, but a 1-2 for the Bamboss team. It's a fairly dominant performance out there.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Like these guys, Adam, Brett, and Brendan, they're just fantastic blokes to race with. And like I said, Dave's such a huge part of our team. He provides us with our paints and comes up with new schemes, and the cars always look fantastic. So yeah, rock on with the team. I reckon bigger and better next season.
Adam, you can have free coffee, but if you're going via Uber Eats, the hot coffee might be cold and the iced coffee might be hot by the time it gets to you.
Yeah, that's right. Being the only Queenslander in the team, we're gonna have to work out a way to sort out this coffee situation. Bit far for me to go to Maitland, but nevertheless, it's I don't know Sue personally or anything, but it's been great to race for the team, and want to echo Greg in saying that the guys are really awesome to race with, and I know Brett's kind of the fastest one of the crew, and he helps us with setups and that sort of thing. And yeah, as Greg was saying, Dave May's our livery wizard. So no, it's great to be a great team to be a part of, and I'm learning heaps as I'm going. As also I'm learning heaps as I'm going in the combox too, after spending a bit of time with you, Grant, and learning from one of the best. And we make it up as we go along, but we get there in the end.
Indeed we do. Indeed we do. Have we had a word from Steve Hoppett yet? I'm not sure if we have.
No, we haven't. No.
Well, Steve's in the booth here with us.
Oh, I'm sitting here listening to what everybody's got to say. Look, congratulations to Greg on winning the series. I haven't managed to make as many of the rounds as I wanted to with other things on, and I actually spent the last 2 weeks struggling to qualify for a V8 series elsewhere. But so that sort of took a lot of my time up. But look, this is a great series. It's my first series with GSRC, and I ran the Formula V's one Thursday night as well, and I won't be going anywhere.
Steve, you're. I know we've spoken a few rounds ago, and you're pretty impressed with how the club is run and the racing involved. We're hoping to see you next season. I'm sure the up and comers next season will be on your timetable.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm getting better. I'm getting better, and I'm getting quicker. I consistently just ripped time out of my lap times every time I went around tonight, and was got it down to being about 3 or 4 seconds off the pole sitter. So I was pretty happy with that.
And what was the change, Steve? Was there anything in particular that got you to cut those seconds out of your times?
I do a lot better when I'm chasing somebody.
Fair enough.
If I'm running around and I don't qualify well, I mean, I can pull a bit of time out here and there, but if I've got other cars around me, I tend to push it a bit harder, and the times just tumble. So, but it's what I'm here for, is to get better and get back into the road racing side of things. As I mentioned, that's where I started years ago with R Factor, and I've spent way too much time doing NASCAR for the last few years. So it's a skill that tends to disappear if you don't use it.
Now, if I remember correctly, your last race with us a few weeks back, you had some rig issues, like some screws coming out or something. That's been sorted out.
Yeah, been a comedy of errors over here. I tell you, one week it was the face plate on the accelerator pedal, and then Laguna Seca. I'd picked up a couple of spots in the first lap, and then 2 of the mounting bolts on the base of my wheelbase came very loose, and the whole thing just moved up and down, and that was pretty much that. I came around the right hander, which was turn 3 or something, turn 3 or 4, and under the bridge there, and the whole wheelbase moved up and down, and I went, what the hell's that? And sideways, that was it. So yeah, that was the end of that night, but I got that sorted out. So yeah, it's just little things have just gone wrong here and there. It was a new rig, and things just needed tightening up here and there after a bit of use, and I just wasn't aware that it was going to be a problem. Unfortunately, it's gotten away, and as I say, the last couple of weeks I've put most of my concentration into life and trying to qualify for a V8 Supercar series and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's taken me away from this series for the last couple of weeks, which is unfortunate. But yeah, they're back in time to finish the series. So I'm hoping that the next one's not too far away, because I'm looking forward to getting back into the up and comers again.
Thanks for that, Steve. No, we don't generally have too long a break during the year. It's more the extended breaks normally at the end of the year. So I'm guessing probably two or 3 week break before we kick off again.
Off.
1 week off is a grant. Okay, thank you.
1 week off first and third terms, and 2 weeks in the middle of the year has been the pattern, and then the 6 or 8 over or whatever it is over Christmas. But yeah, just a 1 week break this time.
Well, there's a couple of things I'd like to comment on. One, it's very well run. I've been doing this for 15 years, and I spent 5 years running a community that had up to 250 people signed up to it. It's very well run here. The attitude is really good amongst everybody. Nobody is really playing for sheep stations. It's not life or death, and like you get in a lot of the official races in iRacing. So congrats to all the drivers and the admins for that. It's a wonderful attitude and a great place to race. And secondly, the broadcasts, they're very well done, Sam. Wouldn't sweat it. I've seen a lot worse, believe me.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it.
I've done my share of commentating on a lot of these things, and
his name down. His name down somewhere.
Yeah, no.
Things just don't always go the way you want, but it's very well done overall.
Well, that's all right. We'll get you in for a enduro at some point, then I reckon, Steve. Yeah, you join me.
Yeah, for an enduro, I'd probably put my hand up, mate, because there's no way I'm sitting in the rig for 2 or 3 or 4 hours. I was lucky to get to where I got to in the 86 race tonight. To be honest, I had about 7 or 8 minutes to go, and I was just getting tired. My dodgy shoulder started to give up, and all of a sudden I started putting the wheel on the loose stuff here and there, and it was just I managed to finish, but not the way I wanted to. But no, look, I'd be only too happy to put my hand up for sitting in the box with you.
Happy
days.
It's
good, Steve, that you weren't looking for the empty Coke bottle towards the end of the race, because there's nothing more uncomfortable than that. And great to hear that you're keen to put your hand up for some comms, because we can always use a few more.
Well, not a problem at all, mate. Yeah, we can work something out there when the time comes.
Awesome. Guys, I'm conscious that we're getting fairly late into the night. So, Steve, thanks for joining us. And I think we've got your name written down already for some commentary gigs. The pay is really, really awesome. So, you're doing a really good thing.
You can quit your day job.
Really?
Yeah.
You can quit your job. You can buy a new rig.
I got myself a Porsche last week after this up and coming season. So yeah.
I got to renegotiate.
Go back and look at your contract, right?
Yeah, contract? Not what paper it's written on. It's never written down.
That's it. Guys, we might wrap it up there, but Sam, it would be remiss of us if we didn't go through our sponsors who help us put on broadcasts and make us look good. So we got Waste Options, West Orange Motors, GSRC is the club, of course. Astute Finance,
Insurance and Wealth.
Thank you. It's a bit small on my screen.
I figured it was.
Fisher and Door Lawyers. Flash Graphics. And our endurance sponsor, Login Systems.
Which Steve Hoppett's going to get around and understand login systems very well. That's the
Login
homework,
is
Steve. We're going to research everything about login systems so we can spin a good yarn about them.
Don't even mention the word login. I'm a retired IT professional.
Look out. So we know where to come when we have real screw up.
So when my broadcast goes down, see, this is going to be perfect.
yeah. When I walked out the door, I emptied my brain. Don't worry about that.
Gentlemen, thanks very much for joining me. Thanks, Sam. It would be remiss of me if I didn't thank you for making me sound half decent. It's been a pleasure jumping in the broadcast booth with you, and thanks for all your hard work behind the scenes, putting the pictures on the screen and the sounds in the background. It's been an absolute pleasure, mate.
No, thank you very much for joining me as well. I think we've had a very good time watching this season. It was one thing last year when I was finishing up in social series. I really wanted to put on a broadcast this season because it's a lot of fun. It's good to have everyone get in the spotlight a little bit more.
It is. And speaking of spotlight, it's great to have Grant Gill back in the spotlight, even if it is just for a brief moment in time. He's had a bit of a driving sabbatical, but Grant, thanks for joining us tonight and putting some intelligence to the broadcast, particularly from my end. But it's been a pleasure, and you've steered us in the right direction for sure.
You're way too kind, I tell you what. But no, look, it's much like Sam. It's good to give back a little bit to the up-and-comers. Always been a great series, and you're coming on in leaps and bounds. I remember early on in our commentary on a Thursday nights we were doing, and we'd get to the end of the interviews and you go, how did you just do that? And so you've developed that side of your game really well, and your commentary is going great. So well done. And Sam, coming along really well with your broadcasting as well. So well done to the both of you for stepping up for the course of the season.
You're too kind, and that's a good advertisement to say for anyone that's looking at jumping in the comms box or broadcast or race control or anything behind the scenes. We are always looking for extra hands to push the wheels along. So by all means, get in touch with any of us, and we can steer you in the right direction. More hands make light work, as the saying goes. But we're going to sign off for this season. We will have a 1 week break, and no doubt we will work something out to get back on board the next season for up and comers. Anything you'd like to close off with, guys, or that's it?
Just mate, Adam Lavis, like outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just agreed. Wouldn't be what it was or what it is without him. So, and the time, like it's a complete Tuesday night for him. So, yeah, awesome. Thanks.
You know, we echo those thoughts, Pete. Well said. And yeah, look, Adams just does a stellar job. Just, I know we'd be lost without him as a club, and he just does an immense amount of work behind the scenes. They're one of the unsung heroes, as they say, and I know we all very much appreciate all the hard work he puts in.
Yep, I did say Trent too, didn't I? Like,
you didn't,
no,
but that's
Trent.
okay.
We knew you meant it.
Yeah, Trent's the one I wanted to thank. So, yeah, awesome.
That ditto to Trent as well. Certainly as race control for the series. He's certainly been firm but fair, and it's made the series what it is. So thanks to Trent as well. Alrighty, guys, that is us. Thank you again. We'd like to thank you, everyone out in the interwebs, for joining us, and we really do look forward to having you on board next season for the up and comers and the other events or the other series we have in the GSRC. But from Adam Tice, Sam Chapman, Grant Gill, Dave May, Pete Matson, and Steve Hoppett, and everyone else, it's a congratulations to Greg Padgett for the championship win, and we will see you next season.